Cả lớp sẵn sàng, giấy, bút, học.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, chúng ta cùng quay lại với nhau với chương trình IELTS Masters. Mình là Hồng Ngọc.
I'm Thao.
IELTS Master là chuỗi chương trình cung cấp kiến thức cũng như lời giải đáp cho những câu hỏi IELTS trong IELTS Marathon. Trong tuần này, chúng ta hãy cùng nhau xử lý nốt những câu liên quan tới phần reading và speaking nhé.
As you can see, this is a table completion question. It's one of the several types of gap-filling exercises.
Chúng ta có điền vào bảng này, điền vào câu, điền vào các phần ghi chú, phần tóm tắt và điền vào sơ đồ. Vậy có cách nào chung để chúng ta cùng xử lý các dạng bài điền thông tin này không nhỉ?
Of course. First, you still need to check the word limits in the requirement. Don't forget to highlight the maximum words by underlining or circling.
Vậy thì mình có thể đoán ngay được bước thứ hai của chúng ta sẽ là để ý xem, đánh dấu gạch chân những từ khóa quan trọng trong câu hỏi.
And then, what do you expect to find in the reading passage?
Từ đồng nghĩa, synonyms, right?
Exactly. And paraphrases of the key words. In this question, you're looking for the main disadvantage of oil or petroleum. Can you find the synonyms for the phrase?
Các bạn có thể thấy chúng ta sẽ nhìn thấy từ downside, cũng có nghĩa là bất lợi này. Weakness, harm, problems. Những từ này đều là những từ đồng nghĩa hoặc gần nghĩa với từ bất lợi disadvantage mà có trong câu hỏi của chúng ta. Có nhiều từ đồng nghĩa với từ disadvantage như vậy. Vậy thì chúng ta biết tìm ở đâu ra được đáp án đây?
Yet you missed the word main, which is very important in this case to identify the answer. Among the synonyms you found in the passage, which one has the closest meaning with main disadvantage?
I would say the most significant weakness.
Exactly. So the answer comes right after the signal word most significant weakness. So a finite resource is the answer. But remember, you have to pay attention to the word limit of 2. And you can omit the article A to have the correct phrase to fill in the table.
Vậy thì các bạn có nhận ra là trong cái phần bài tập vừa rồi chúng ta hoàn toàn không phải đọc hết cả đoạn văn để có thể trả lời. Thực ra phần mà chúng ta làm vừa rồi chỉ hoàn toàn là tìm các cụm từ liên quan tới từ disadvantages. Và sau đó thì chúng ta xác định xem cụm từ nào có chứa đầy đủ nhất những thành phần của các từ trong câu hỏi hoặc gần nghĩa liên quan tới câu hỏi. Và nhờ vậy thì ngay lập tức chúng ta có thể xác định được đáp án của chúng ta là a finite resource và từ cần điền là finite resource.
That's right. The reading skill that you mentioned is scanning. It means to read a text quickly in order to find specific information, such as figures, names, or even places. You know what? You can do a lot of scanning in your daily life and not notice things that are right in front of you.
Vậy thì kỹ năng mà thầy vừa nhắc đến chính là kỹ năng scan thần thánh mà chúng ta vẫn thường nghe.
You can practice scanning at the beginning by reading with a pen. Then as you get used to the speed, you can move the pen faster so your eyes move as fast to keep up with the pen. If you have a partner, I will give you a quick, easy game that you guys can play to improve your scanning skills. You can take any English passage that you find in one of the many books. One person will say a random word or the synonym of the random word. Then you have to go about looking into the text where that word is as fast as you can. You can set the timer to 4 or 5 seconds to have more pressure. Why don't we try it right now?
Okay.
Now let's find the synonym of the word advantage in the reading passage. Are you ready? You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go.
Benefit.
Exactly. You're right.
Vậy thì bây giờ chúng ta đã hiểu được scan là gì rồi. Có bạn đặt câu hỏi cho mình rằng thế còn skim thì sao?
Skim means reading through the text quickly. But instead of trying to find a small piece of information, you try to grasp the general ideas of the text.
Những bài đọc IELTS thường kéo dài từ 2 đến 3 trang. Và vì lý do đấy nếu chúng ta cứ câu hỏi nào cũng chọn từ khóa và sau đấy đi tìm suốt cả bài thì sẽ rất là mất thời gian. Việc skim cũng như đọc lướt qua để nắm được nội dung chính cho phép chúng ta biết được nội dung sơ lược của mỗi đoạn. Và nhờ vậy khi chúng ta có câu hỏi liên quan đến phần nào thì chúng ta có thể nhanh chóng quay trở lại chính xác phần đấy để xử lý và trả lời câu hỏi.
Okay, IELTS Masters, let's wrap up and review all that we learned today. Pay attention to the question carefully. Number 2, pay attention to the synonyms and different ways to paraphrase. And the third tip, Practice scanning as much as you can so that you can save a lot of time with most types of questions in the IELTS reading. Let's now review the speaking question from last week. Describe a problem that affects the environment in the area where you live. You should say what the problem is, what causes it, and explain what you think can be done to solve it.
Rất nhiều bạn học sinh đã gửi câu trả lời đến cho chúng tôi trong thứ 5 tuần trước và các bạn ấy đã nói về vấn đề global warming, hiện tượng nóng lên toàn cầu. Tuy nhiên câu trả lời này thì đã không được chấp nhận. Tại sao lại như vậy nhỉ, thầy Thoa?
It's a broad topic, but as we can see in the question, it's very important to talk about the local area, where you live. So for example, we need to choose local problems, such as air pollution caused by traffic and factories, as well as building new roads, houses, and factories that destroy natural rural areas.
Vậy là rõ ràng chúng ta cần phải tập trung hơn vào câu hỏi. Ở trong trường hợp này người ta chỉ muốn hỏi về vấn đề liên quan tới khu vực mà chúng ta đang sinh sống thôi. Và vì lý do đấy thì chúng ta có thể nói về những vấn đề liên quan đến giao thông, những vấn đề liên quan tới xây dựng thêm nhà, cửa, đường xá. Hay là các bạn có thể nói thêm về những vấn đề về rác thải xung quanh khu vực mình đang sống chẳng hạn. Mặc dù là đã giới hạn được chủ đề như vậy rồi, nhưng để nói sâu và nói nhiều hơn về chủ đề đó thì thực sự là một thử thách khó khăn. So Thao, can you suggest a way for the student when they cannot come up with any ideas for the topic?
Actually, you don't have to answer every single question on the cue card. Those questions are just supposed to help you get a general idea of how to respond. Now, many of the questions you may think you can just answer it in 2 to 3 sentences, but that will not necessarily help you get a good score.
Vậy thì chúng ta sẽ phải làm như thế nào trong trường hợp chúng ta đã sử dụng hết tất cả câu hỏi trong đề bài rồi nhưng vẫn không thể nào mở rộng được câu trả lời của mình?
Instead of answering the cue questions, you can think of other ideas by asking yourself a few questions. What, who, when, where, why, how. For example, instead of answering the question, what causes it, use the cue question word, what. You may ask yourself, what effects will this problem cause?
Mặc dù là rất nhiều bạn có thể liệt kê ra ngay lập tức một vài vấn đề gây ra ô nhiễm chẳng hạn. Tuy nhiên là việc chúng ta có thể khai thác sâu và nói kỹ về những vấn đề này thì có lẽ là hơi khó khăn. Vì vậy nếu chúng ta chuyển câu hỏi một chút và nói về ảnh hưởng thì rõ ràng là sẽ dễ hơn rất nhiều. Ví dụ như khi các bạn nói về ô nhiễm không khí chẳng hạn. Nếu các bạn nói về ảnh hưởng của ô nhiễm không khí tới cuộc sống của chúng ta, các bạn có thể nói về việc chúng ta phải đeo khẩu trang hàng ngày như thế nào, hoặc nó ảnh hưởng tới những vấn đề liên quan tới sức khỏe hô hấp của chúng ta ra sao. Và điều này thì có vẻ như dễ dàng hơn rất nhiều bởi chúng ta liên hệ trực tiếp được tới bản thân mình trong quá trình trả lời.
The next question is who. Who are affected by this problem?
Ví dụ như khi mình nói về ảnh hưởng của ô nhiễm không khí đối với người dân thành phố, mình có thể khai thác sâu hơn và nói kỹ hơn về ảnh hưởng của nó đối với sức khỏe của người già và trẻ nhỏ. Nó khác như thế nào so với việc ảnh hưởng tới những người trưởng thành và nhờ vậy có thêm được rất nhiều ý tưởng để có thể khai thác thêm.
Other questions. When? When has this problem become most serious? Another question. Where? Where in the city does this problem cause the most trouble?
Vậy là càng nhiều câu hỏi thì chúng ta càng có cơ hội mở rộng thêm câu trả lời của mình. Thêm vào đấy nữa các bạn sẽ để ý nhé. Với mỗi một câu hỏi thì mình lại có thể mở rộng cũng như sử dụng thêm vốn từ và khoe vốn từ của mình trong quá trình trả lời. Ví dụ như câu hỏi when thì mình có thể đề cập thêm về những ngày mà thời tiết không đẹp, về những hôm khí hậu không ủng hộ. Hoặc là với câu hỏi where thì mình có thể nói về những khu vực bị ảnh hưởng nhiều nhất như trung tâm thành phố, downtown, city centers chẳng hạn.
To answer the last question, explain what do you think could be done to solve it. You can provide details to support each solution that you give. For example, when you think of a solution, we should use public transport more often. Now apply what, who, when, and where to that sentence to develop more ideas.
Đúng vậy. Nhờ những từ khóa này mình có thể mở rộng từng câu hỏi trong đề bài đưa ra và có thể đưa được nhiều ý tưởng hơn. Ví dụ khi bạn nói về giải pháp sử dụng phương tiện giao thông công cộng để giảm thiểu ô nhiễm không khí chẳng hạn. Các bạn có thể nói thêm chúng ta có những loại phương tiện giao thông công cộng nào đang sẵn có tại nơi mình sinh sống. Ai là người có thể sử dụng? Chúng ta nên sử dụng khi nào và vào những thời điểm nào, những nơi nào để có thể đạt được cái hiệu quả tốt nhất.
You got it. You can always put these question words in your notes during the first minute and use them as ideas whenever you think you're out of ideas.
Và bây giờ chúng ta sẽ cùng xem một câu trả lời mẫu và xem thầy Thao nhận xét gì về câu trả lời này nhé.
There are so many problems that negatively affect the environment in our area, and among these, the air pollution, in my opinion, is the most severe one. You can literally feel the impact of air pollution as you travel on the streets, especially during rush hours. It's almost unbearable for people to commute around Hanoi without wearing a mask, since the air pollution in our city has reached an alarming level over the recent years. The declining air quality in Hanoi has been attributed to high traffic volumes and industrial activity. In Hanoi, motorbikes and cars have become the preferred mode of transportation. Almost everyone in the city owns a motorbike, which is the main source of exhaust fumes that are released every day in the city. Also, hundreds of construction projects and manufacturing facilities around Hanoi also emit large quantities of air pollution. As a result, people who live and work in Hanoi have to suffer from very unhealthy air quality in recent years. There are several approaches that the government and people can take to control and reduce air pollution in Hanoi. First and foremost, the government needs to put restriction to the amount of emissions and pollutants from construction sites. This will urge big companies to use clean energy, adopt environment-friendly structures, and input to reduce their carbon footprint. More importantly, citizens should be encouraged to shift to more eco-friendly transportation options, like public transport or electric vehicle. Even a small number of workers and students decide to switch to public transport to commute every day, much of the pressure of air pollution can be relieved.
The answer is perfect. Also, it uses great sentence structure and words to help develop ideas. Let's review all the tips that we covered today for speaking. Tip number 1. Read the question carefully and choose the appropriate response. Avoid ones that are too broad or general when the question asks about the local scene. Number 2. Write down 5 question words: who, what, when, where, and why.
Sẽ là thời gian để chúng ta đặt thêm những câu hỏi cho thầy Thao những thắc mắc của chúng ta liên quan tới quá trình học IELTS. Câu hỏi đầu tiên, liệu việc sử dụng idioms hay thành ngữ trong quá trình trả lời có quan trọng hay không?
In the IELTS speaking test, it's important to use idioms, but make sure to note, not all idioms are simply, it's raining cats and dogs. Make sure to look for idiomatic expressions when responding to the speaking test. Also, if you don't fully understand the idiom and can't use it in everyday conversation, I recommend not using it.
Câu hỏi thứ hai, đấy là làm thế nào để chúng ta có thể trả lời câu hỏi của mình một cách logic hơn?
There's several ways and elements to consider when answering logically. Make sure you read the question carefully in the first place to get a good answer. Plan your monologue using cue questions or try to start with a general introduction. Then go into more details using the 5W questions and conclude with sound reasoning. One key thing to keep in mind is always try to explain all the points in your speech rather than just listing the idea. Last but not least, link the ideas using sentence connectors. Effective use of linking words builds a strong and solid answer.
Vậy là hôm nay chúng ta đã cùng nhau giải quyết những thắc mắc và chia sẻ thật nhiều những kiến thức thú vị liên quan đến phần speaking và reading của IELTS. Và mình tin rằng các bạn đã có được những bí quyết rất hay để các bạn có thể xử lý các câu hỏi IELTS. Và chúng ta đã sẵn sàng cho IELTS Marathon tuần tiếp theo. Đừng quên là thứ Bảy tuần sau chúng ta sẽ lại gặp nhau với IELTS Master với những kiến thức, những chia sẻ về cách làm bài và giải đáp cho câu hỏi của livestream. Mình là Hồng Ngọc.
Koa.
This is
IELTS Master.
See you next Saturday.
Study IELTS.
Góc kiểm tra bài cũ, một từ mới mà bạn đã học được trong bài học ngày hôm qua là gì? Comment ngay nhé.
Rồi, các bạn comment ngay cái từ mới mà các bạn đã học được nha. Cho đó các bạn đang đến với Now It's Time to Study IELTS, khung giờ học tiếng Anh vào mỗi buổi tối của IELTS Face-Off và đang được livestream trực tiếp trên YouTube của IELTS Face-Off. Vẫn là những gương mặt rất là quen thuộc. Trình Quang Trường, Giang Nguyễn, khóc tiếng chó là khóc tiếng gì em? Lê Trung Thành, Hồng Vân. Hôm nay có vẻ như là mọi người cũng chill hơn đúng không nào? Ngày hôm nay Sơn serious, admin đã bị bệnh cho nên các bạn hãy vô phát vía khỏe mạnh đi để cho Sơn bớt bệnh. Anh ta vừa giờ mới xuất hiện. Tại vì là cấu trúc chương trình thì chỗ này chỗ kia thôi, anh cũng sẽ vẫn xuất hiện thôi. Livestream của tụi mình, cái series này cũng đang gần trôi về phía cuối rồi, cho nên tụi mình cũng rất là cố gắng để làm sao đều đặn cùng với các bạn. Không nghe thấy giọng anh em khóc. Hello Như Nguyễn, hello Ngọc Diễm, lâu lắm mới thấy Diễm ha. Hello Bảo Trần, giờ mới được gặp. Tối nay thì mình sẽ có cũng nhiều thứ hay ho lắm đó, cho nên các bạn cứ chuẩn bị chờ đợi nha. Còn bây giờ thì như thường lệ chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với đó, không nghe thấy giọng em khóc. Thiệt là cảm động quá, cảm ơn em rất nhiều. Cảm động quá. Em chỉ có vía 9 năm chưa ốm và bất tử với Covid thôi. Anh cũng chưa bao giờ bị Covid nè. Nhưng mà thôi, nhận vía từ Lê Trung Thành nha. Sức khỏe luôn luôn là thứ quan trọng nhất. Bởi vì là có sức khỏe thì mình sẽ làm được nhiều việc hơn, nhiều thứ hơn. Còn nếu mà không có sức khỏe thì cũng rất là mệt. Hôm nay thì crew của IFO cũng có mặt ở nhà anh cả buổi chiều để chuẩn bị cho cái planning của Fulbright Olympus. Một cái lộ trình với rất là nhiều điểm thú vị ở trên khắp Việt Nam. Rồi, đó, vía từ Lê Trung Thành, từ Bảo Trần và từ các người bạn của chúng ta. Nhưng mà dù đó lý do tại sao mà hôm nay Sơn nó không đi chơi với người yêu, mình ở nhà nó làm admin đó. Sẽ còn kiểm tra bài cũ dài dài. Anh dùng cam hãng gì vậy à? Nét quá trời. Anh dùng cam của Sony em. Nét quá à. Cảm ơn em đã dành lời khen. Không quá. Và chiều nay cũng có nói là chắc chắn là phải dừng lại Thanh Hóa để gặp Trịnh Quang Trường với lại Nguyễn Khắc Hùng Anh. Bữa nay nó đi đâu rồi? Chưa thấy đâu hết. Có Quân Nguyễn vào rồi nè, nhưng chắc là lại đi ra rồi. Đó, chúng ta đã vừa đến với cái video đầu tiên. Video này thì các bạn đã đến với IELTS Master. Còn bây giờ thì như thường lệ chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với hai Musketeer của chúng ta là Hồ Kính Đạt và Andy Nguyễn với Musketeer Inbox ngay sau đây.
Hey guys, welcome to episode number 7 of the IELTS Musketeer Inbox. So this week has been a very special week for our team because we have two birthdays of two of our members of the Face-Off teams. So the first member to have birthday was our host Phoebe Trang, and the second member was, I think, Mr. Đặng, whose birthday is yesterday. So happy birthday to both of you if you're watching this. So in this week's episode, which was aired on VTV7, we had a guest who is Mr. Nguyễn, a very young and talented man who has a very inspiring story. So he was studying in the States, and when he graduated, he got a job offer that could earn him like a ton of money, but he decided to just leave all of that behind and answer to his higher calling, which is yoga. So he decided to come back to Vietnam and open his own yoga classes and inspire people to take up yoga because he notices the healing power of yoga if you incorporate it into your daily life. And Bun is also a globetrotter. He just absolutely loves traveling. And speaking of traveling, I think that traveling has a really great power because it can enrich our life experiences and can change our worldview for the better. So I think that if you guys have time, definitely go out there and explore the world and enrich your life experience instead of getting stuck behind a desk trying to just earn money and to survive and not really live your life because YOLO, we only live once, right? Okay, so in this episode, we are going to take you back in time, specifically to the 80s and the early 90s. So I was actually born in the late 80s. Yeah, I was born in 1989. But so I think I'm nearing 30 years old already, so I feel really old. So please do not call me an uncle. I'd be really sad. yeah, I'm old, but like not that old. So okay. So coming up next, we Andy and me, we are going to have a little game. I promise you guys, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. And then we have a lot of fun things coming up in this episode. Okay, so see you guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to Musketeer Inbox, and today's theme is about going back in time. So today Andy is going to take you to something very, vintage and something very historic and legendary.
Hello guys, good to be back. Hey Andy, did you just say legendary and like ancient? Like I feel super old right now, It's I'm
Yes.
not that much older than you. I'm like I think 5 years or something. But
Yeah,
it's like huge
you are 5 years. Today, I invited Mr. Depp to this live streaming session so that we can play a little game. The game is called, guess the emoji. So, emoji is like a very recent
Actually,
term for...
during back in time, it was called emoticon.
Yes, emoticon, yeah, I know.
It's so far.
Kids now, they call it emoji, right? But
Yeah.
back in the 90s and 2000, early 2000, people call it emoticon. So here are the rules, okay? Listen very carefully. I'm gonna give there's going to be some sort of chart with a lot of facial expressions, with a lot of emoticons on that chart, and Mr. Dat is going to using his facial expression to illustrate which kind of emoticon he is talking about, and I'm going to guess it in just 10 seconds. And each of us have 10 turns to express the emoticons to each other for guessing.
Okay, so the first one is super easy. Okay, so,
Okay. A second. Okay. Can you do it again? This is a thumbs up.
you're late, man. You're like
No.
1 second late.
That was because of
It's
the
super
internet.
easy. Like, who wouldn't
Thumbs up.
be able to guess this? Thumbs up, right?
Alright,
Okay,
so
so,
I missed the first point. Next.
so 1-0 for that. And okay, this is something that I love doing every day. Like, I get distracted when I'm supposed to do work, and I usually do this. Okay, so here's the second emoticon. Look.
You forgot the timer. Okay.
Sorry. Go.
I don't know. Daydreaming.
Yes, you're right.
Oh,
Lucky for you. Okay, so it's a tie now. Yeah, 1-1.
Awesome.
So it's you're looking around, right? Daydreaming about other stuff when you're supposed to be doing work. So that's
lot.
a pastime. Okay. So actually, I'm gonna start the timer and then I'm gonna do it, and you have to guess. Okay.
Okay. That is a signal.
So this one is super easy. So you suck if you can't get it right. Okay. Third one.
Third.
What is that?
Surprise.
Yep.
Surprise.
Yeah. So, three,
I
2 points.
haven't
for you.
even seen it in the chart. I'm just guessing.
No, you're not supposed to be cheating. I mean, those are pretty like common expressions that we use every day, right?
But I still got the point.
Yeah,
I
2
got
out of
two.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the third one. Oh shit. This one is super hard for me to do, so I hope that you get it right. So just pay attention to my eyes really closely. Okay. So
I'm sorry, my eyes are real.
oh my gosh, they look hideous.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
I think my
What
eyes
is it? What?
my eyes are too small to pull this off.
Yeah,
Raising
your eyes
eyebrows.
really-
How do you raise your
really
eyebrows? How do you raise your eyebrows?
I have very huge eyes.
Yeah, I just can't pull that off.
So
Okay, so
what kind of emoticon is that?
I think like it's supposed to express a certain emotion of like being, I don't know, getting a little bit angry, I'm not sure. Like when someone is supposed to do something and they forget to do it, then you give them this kind of look like
oh, if you want to express anger, then you need to like express more, like something like that.
yeah, like what I just did for you, right? When it
No, with your eyes
line.
your eyes do not tell the story, okay? Your eyes are not moving. So how many correct answers I got so far? Like,
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4.
Three,
so
okay.
there are 3 more for you. Okay.
One more. Yeah, one more.
So I'll give you a little hint. So when someone anger me, this is what I do. Okay.
Your hands. What is it? I don't know. No.
So I'm folding my arms and then
So
looking
hard.
somewhere and I shake my head. What is this supposed to mean?
I don't know. I
Okay.
can't guess it. I
When
cross my hands like this.
when you get on my nerve, when you anger me, I'm not
No talking? No
to you.
talking?
So
That's
this
no
is
talking?
me being angry, right? So like this. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm not listening.
No talking, right?
Yeah, no talking. Okay, so
I just got it. I just saw it on
Two more.
the chart. Two more?
So
I thought that you already
So,
have five turns.
5 already, so we have 2 more. Okay, so the next one will be, I think it's an English idiom, so I think you know this.
Oh no. Talking to the hands. Talking to the hands.
Okay. Yep, it is talk to the hand, right? So what does that mean, Andy?
It means that I don't want to talk to you. You talk to my hand, but not to me.
Okay, so I think I read it somewhere. Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening.
Okay. You can talk to my hand.
So, yeah, talk to my hand. So
okay,
guys,
is it-
the next time
is it
you're
going-
angry
you might-
at someone, just show them your hand.
Okay.
Okay, so
Is
the
it my
last
turn?
one.
Last one. Okay.
Last one. Yep. It's a little bit strange, so I hope you can get it right. Get a start. So it'll be like this.
I know this. Waiting.
Okay, you're just in time, man. Yeah, so you got 5 out of 7 right. Okay, now it's my turn to. Not too bad. I mean, given how young you are.
I'm going to illustrate like 7 emoticons right now. Is that correct? 7?
7, yeah, I think. 7 is enough.
Okay. I know this. So the first
You start the
emoticon.
timer first. Then.
The first emoticon I'm going to illustrate is this. So pay attention, okay? 1.
The teeth are so white. Okay, it's a grin.
Okay.
Is that a grin?
That is correct. That is a big green, right?
Okay. So
Is
it's
it
like,
green or brown? Is it green or brown?
It's
I'm
green.
not sure.
It's
Green, right?
It's a colon and then it's a D, right?
Yes.
The colon and a D.
That is my favorite emoticon. I use it all the time.
Really?
Okay. Next one. The next one. Okay. So you already have 1 point. The next one is this.
Too easy.
Go.
Myopic. You are wearing specs, so you're a nerd.
Okay. That was too easy.
Yeah.
I
So
should've
you
used
think
something
that
harder.
you look really nerdy and dorky with your glasses on.
Okay. So that is good. Okay. Next one. This is going to be fun. Okay.
Start the time.
Okay. The time. 1, 2, 3.
It's your signature, man. Thinking. Are you thinking of
Okay.
something?
Thinking. All right. Thinking. You already got.
You always do
3
this in
out
your
of
videos.
3, right?
Yeah, I'm good. I know I'm better.
I know and do it all the time.
It's
You already got
from
3.
time, so
You beat me. Okay, next one. Okay, this one. I know.
is it goodbye?
Timer.
Goodbye. Hello. You're waving.
Waving, okay, waving. Exactly.
Come on,
I would-
Andy. Can you? How do I say?
Step up the game.
Can you make it a
I
little bit
can't.
more challenging, man?
The facial expression is not really my strength, you know. Okay, this one is going to be difficult. You already got 4, right?
I think
You
so.
already got 4.
Yeah.
Okay, this one. Okay, this one is fun. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
What are you blowing? Cigar? Smoking cigar? Blowing the trumpet.
You didn't guess it. You didn't have it. That is.
Okay, so what
that
was
is
it?
Party emoticon.
Why is it a party emoticon?
Party. I'm blowing something. And I'm wearing a hat. A party hat. I'm blowing the flower apart.
See? So we blow at a party, right?
Yes, but I forgot to put on my hat. You know, that's okay.
Oh, you forgot, yeah.
So you got
okay,
4.
so I got like 4 out of 5.
And I got 5. Right. So now I'm going to illustrate 2 more. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay. This one is fun. Sorry. Go.
Long nose, kill. You're telling a lie.
Why do you always guess it? Why do you always have the answer? Yes, I was.
Remember, I'm from that time. Remember?
Okay. You were born in the 80s.
I used to be able to type out all the emoticons without having to choose. Look at the visual. Like literally, you just remember all the corresponding characters. You just type it out.
Yeah,
and it's
you remember all the
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with a pro.
Yep, you are. So last one. I'm gonna beat you.
Okay. So we are now tied, right?
Alright.
So hard. What is?
Looking for the most difficult one.
So it's the last one. Okay. Go.
What are you looking at? Oh man.
Didn't have it. I was rolling my eyes.
So you're rolling your eyes when you are expressing disbelief, right?
Well, no. When I was expressing some sort of disbelief or something. When somebody says something that I think totally crazy and something that doesn't make sense, then I'm gonna roll my eye to show my disapproval.
I think this is something I can come up with. Like when you listen to someone talking and you're like, yeah, right, and you'll be like,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're looking
Okay,
up.
and I can't believe it. You are saying that
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
That is rolling my eyes. So we are.
Okay, so what's the score? Is it a
5.
Is it a
You
tie?
have 5. 5 or 6.
5. Okay.
5. So
5.
I was at 5.
Okay, you're not too bad.
For the audience at home, in this game, I and Mr. Dad have already decided that if someone lost, then the other have to buy something nice or the other. But well, this is a happy ending, right? Because nobody is going to have to buy anybody something.
It's okay. I mean, when I'm coming to
Okay.
Hanoi in September, I'm gonna buy you a treat. It's okay. I know you
Buy
love
me
milk tea, so I'm gonna get you a really cool milk tea to pick you out.
All right. So that's it, guys. That is a very fun segment that we have done today about Yahoo Messengers and a lot of some interesting game about emoticons. So what is the next segment, Mr. Dad?
In the next segment, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you have sent us. As usual, it's the Q&A session. So yeah.
Okay. So I will leave now for you to take it away. Okay.
I wish we could play more, but okay. So see you next time, Andy.
Goodbye.
Okay, see you guys. Cảm ơn các bạn đã đến với phần Q&A, phần đặt câu hỏi và giải đáp của IELTS Musketeer Inbox tuần này. Bây giờ chúng ta sẽ không phí thời gian nữa và bắt đầu đi vào phần giải đáp luôn nha. Thì câu hỏi đầu tiên mà mình nhận được đó là câu của cậu bé bút chì. Thầy có thể chia sẻ một vài cách mở bài và kết bài đơn giản được không ạ? Thật ra đây là một cái câu hỏi được đặt cho thầy Đăng bên phần livestream của thầy, nhưng mà mình ăn cắp qua đây, mình trả lời luôn. Thì đây là cái kinh nghiệm bản thân của mình thôi. Mình theo cái phong cách viết mở bài của thầy Simon, tại vì đây là một cái phong cách đơn giản nhất và cũng thỏa mãn được cái yêu cầu của bài ấy. Thì các bạn chỉ cần 2 câu cho phần mở bài. Cái câu đầu tiên sẽ là câu viết lại cái câu hỏi của đề bài, và câu thứ hai sẽ là trả lời câu hỏi của đề bài. Ok. Thì câu đầu tiên chính là paraphrase, câu thứ hai sẽ là cái thesis statement, cái nơi mà bạn trả lời câu hỏi á. Chẳng hạn như nếu mà cái bài nó hỏi rằng là học sinh tốt nghiệp cấp 3 nên đi học đại học thay vì đi làm luôn, đó, bạn nghĩ gì về điều này? Thì câu đầu tiên bạn sẽ phải paraphrase cái đề, mình sẽ nói là có người thì nghĩ rằng học sinh tốt nghiệp cấp 3 thì nên đi học đại học thay vì đi làm, và quan điểm của tôi chính là tôi đồng ý với cái quan điểm này. Đó, vậy là xong 2 câu. Vậy là mình thỏa mãn được cái yêu cầu của phần mở bài rồi đấy. Nếu mà bạn muốn thật là đơn giản và vẫn thỏa mãn được cái yêu cầu ha. Phần kết bài thì mình sẽ nêu lại cái chính kiến của mình thôi. Thì mình nói là in conclusion hay là in sum gì đấy, I believe that, tôi nghĩ rằng học sinh cấp 3 nên tiếp tục theo đuổi con đường đi học thay vì đi làm và kiếm kinh nghiệm liền. Mình ngừng ở đó cũng được. Hoặc là nếu mà bạn muốn thì thêm một câu có thể nói về kiểu mình dự kiến về tương lai chẳng hạn, hoặc là mình kêu gọi người ta làm gì đấy ha. Nhưng mà nếu mà hết thời gian thì vẫn có thể ngừng ở một câu. Cái câu đó chính là cái câu trả lời cho câu hỏi đó. Ok. Những dạng khác cũng vậy, chẳng hạn như là problem solution hay là advantage, disadvantages, thì mình vẫn theo cái sườn là câu đầu tiên paraphrase, câu thứ hai của mở bài sẽ là trả lời câu hỏi. Ok. Rồi bây giờ tới bạn thứ hai, bạn Lê Nguyễn Ngọc Hà. Bạn hỏi rằng mình không nên dùng phrasal verbs trong writing task 2, có đúng không ạ? Có thể là bạn đã nghe cái lời khuyên này từ một số người hay là một số nguồn trên mạng, nhưng mà mình đã tìm hiểu cái vấn đề này và theo một số thầy cô bản xứ chuyên về viết ấy, và một số người biên soạn từ điển ở Cambridge, thì họ lại nói rằng là có một số cái phrasal verb nhưng mà nó mang tính trịnh trọng luôn, như là nó phù hợp với lại văn viết luôn, cho nên bạn không có phải lo là không được dùng phrasal verb trong writing ha. Một số cái phrasal verb mình có thể dùng chẳng hạn như là gây ra, cái chữ to bring about, đúng không? Ví dụ mình nói về vấn đề môi trường đi, mình nói là air pollution is brought about by human activities. Đó, thì cái chữ bring about đó là phrasal verb, hoàn toàn có thể dùng trong writing được. Một số cái khác chẳng hạn như là chữ ascribe to something, nghĩa là gán cho cái gì đấy, thì mình dùng cái phrasal verb này để nói về cái nguyên nhân á. Chẳng hạn như là mình nói là air pollution can be ascribed to human activities. Câu này có nghĩa là ô nhiễm môi trường thì có thể được quy kết, được gán cho những cái hoạt động của con người. Đó, thì bạn hoàn toàn có thể dùng trong writing, không bị trừ điểm nha. Nếu mà mình muốn tìm cái list đó thì bạn có thể lên Google hay lên Google đi và tìm cái keyword là formal phrasal verbs hay là phrasal verbs for academic writing, thì mình chắc chắn là sẽ có một số cái list đó, thì bạn cứ làm theo. Ok. Rồi bây giờ mình đến câu hỏi tiếp theo, là một câu hỏi về phần speaking của bạn Ý Nhi Nguyễn. Thầy ơi, những bài mẫu thầy nói tụi em có thể học hoặc nên học thuộc lòng như là bài tủ được không? chắc chắn là không rồi. Tại vì mọi người nghĩ xem, khi mà mình đi thi nói á, đâu phải là cái câu nào nó cũng lặp lại y chang như cái câu mình đã học đâu, đúng không? Có thể là nó chỉ có một số cái keyword nó lặp lại và cái ý của nó thì nó hơi khác chút xíu, cho nên nếu mà mình học tổ thì khi mình trả lời nó sẽ không khớp hoàn toàn với cái mà giám khảo đang tìm kiếm, thì chắc chắn là giám khảo biết là mình đang kiểu copy từ cái nguồn khác rồi. Và chẳng hạn như là tưởng tượng nếu một câu này mình trả lời cực hay, tự nhiên cái qua câu tiếp theo cái chả biết nói gì mà cái khả năng ngôn ngữ nó xuống cái vèo như vậy này, thì chắc chắn là họ biết mình học tổ và cái điểm trừ đó là mạnh luôn. Cho nên mình đi theo cái hướng đó thì mình sẽ không thể nào mà có một cái điểm cao được ha mọi người. Mọi người có thể tận dụng bài mẫu tận dụng bài mẫu theo một số cách sau đây, chẳng hạn như là mình đọc nó để mình lấy ý thôi, tham khảo, và mình thấy cái bài mẫu nào hay á, mình sẽ góp nhặt một số cái cách diễn đạt, một số cách hành văn, và tiếp theo là những cái cụm từ hay của chủ đề đó, và một số cái từ nói hay, chẳng hạn như là mình lúc nào cũng nói I think đúng không? Thì mình đọc một số cái bài mẫu đi và mình có thể pick ra một số cụm, chẳng hạn như là well, the way I see it, hoặc là it seems to me that gì đấy. Đó là những cái cách thay thế cho cái chữ I think rất là hay, mình nên học hỏi. Tận dụng những cái bài mẫu như thế thì nó tốt hơn là cứ học thuộc hoàn toàn từng chữ nha. Còn một cái nữa để mình xem coi. Rồi, nếu mà các bạn muốn học tụ á, thì học tụ những điều sau. Học tụ những cách diễn đạt về những cái gì nó rất gần gũi với lại cuộc sống của mình, chẳng hạn như là mình giỏi cái gì, mình dở cái gì này. Nghĩa là cái cách nói á, I'm good at, I'm bad at, nhưng mà mình học những cái cách diễn đạt thú vị hơn ha. Mình dở, mình giỏi, mình thích, mình không thích này. Hoặc là nói về cái gì, nói về tiền bạc, nói về thời gian, nói về cái lịch trình của mình, bận rộn hay là rảnh rỗi gì đấy. Một số cách diễn đạt về sự thư giãn này, bị stress này, mình diễn đạt như thế nào, diễn tả cái đẹp, diễn tả cái xấu, diễn tả sự thú vị này. Đó, tại vì những cái ý đó nó rất thường xuất hiện trong tất cả những cái bài nói luôn, xuyên suốt luôn. Cho nên nếu mà mình thuộc nằm lòng những cái cách diễn đạt đó mà thú vị hơn những cái cách mình hay nói á, thì khi mình đi thi mình gặp đúng chủ đề nào mình cũng có một cái không gian để mà mình coi như là make color, đúng không? Để làm màu, hoặc là để tạo một cái ngữ cảnh gì đó nó đưa vào cái câu trả lời nó mượt hơn. Mình cho ví dụ nha, chẳng hạn như cái câu hỏi nó hỏi mình là bạn có thích thể thao không? Thay vì mình trả lời là thích xong rồi mình ngừng, mình có thể nói là đúng rồi, mình rất là thích thể thao tại vì nó tốt cho sức khỏe. Lúc đó đưa cái cụm từ về sức khỏe mình viết vào, đúng không? Đặc biệt là mình rất là thích bơi chẳng hạn, rồi bắt đầu đưa thêm một cái ví dụ nè, cuối tuần mình thường hay đi bơi với lại bạn thân chẳng hạn, hit the pool, thay vì nói là go to the pool. Rồi đó là một cách tốt để thư giãn này. Đó thì cái lúc đó là lúc cái cụm từ thư giãn mình đã học nó được đưa vào, đúng không? It's a great way to unwind. Right? Một ví dụ khác nha, ví dụ như là bạn gặp cái câu hỏi là bạn có thích soi gương hay không? Câu hỏi rất là lạ lùng, đúng không? Nhưng mà vẫn có cách để trả lời ha. Mình có thể đưa cái lịch trình của mình vào, chẳng hạn mình nói mình là một người rất là bận rộn cho nên không có thời gian để nhìn vào gương kỹ càng mỗi ngày đâu. Okay. Rồi mỗi buổi sáng mình nhìn vô gương để coi mình có chỉnh chu chưa, sau đó đi làm liền. Đó, thì mình có thể nói là well, I have a really hectic schedule. Lúc đó là cái cụm hectic schedule là bận rộn, đúng không? So every morning I don't really have much time to spend preening myself in the mirror. Okay, I usually just take a quick glance into the mirror to make sure that I look presentable. Và câu hỏi tiếp theo là một câu hỏi về những cái nguồn xem YouTube của bạn Bích Tuyền Trần. Nguồn YouTube nào thầy thường luyện tập về ạ? Thì hôm bữa thầy Tùng đã có giới thiệu các bạn một số cái nguồn mà thầy hay xem, chẳng hạn như là travel guide, những cái video hướng dẫn để đi du lịch, đúng không? Sau đó một cái trang mà thầy Tùng rất là thích đó là cái trang Munchies, là nói về nấu ăn. Thầy Tùng rất là một người sành ăn. Và cái tiếp theo quên mất rồi, nhưng mà ok, mình sẽ đóng góp vào cái list đó nha. Ok, đối với những bạn mà mới bắt đầu học tiếng Anh, hoặc là những bạn ở cấp độ beginners, sơ cấp hay là sơ trung cấp, thì mình có thể xem cái trang của thầy Dan Howard. Thầy là một người Mỹ ở Việt Nam cũng đã khá lâu rồi và thầy học được tiếng Việt cực đỉnh luôn. Thầy sống ở Hà Nội và thầy làm một cái trang YouTube đó thì mình chắc hẳn là nhiều người cũng biết, đúng không? Thường là những cái bài giảng của thầy là nói tiếng Việt nhưng mà dạy những cái cụm từ, những cái slang, những cái tiếng lóng cho từng chủ đề. Cái cách giảng dạy của thầy rất là cuốn hút luôn, cho nên mọi người nhớ tìm cái channel của thầy nha. Hình như là Dan Howard gì đấy, hoặc là Learning English with Dan nha. Và đôi khi thầy cũng có một số cái clip nói tiếng Anh hoàn toàn luôn, và thầy nói rất là dễ nghe và cực kỳ hài hước, cho nên các bạn xem thì sẽ không chán. Và những cái từ thầy dùng là những từ mà người bản xứ thường hay dùng, cho nên không có sợ là những cái từ mình học bị lỗi thời nha. Rồi một cái trang tiếp theo, các bạn có thể nếu mà mình thích vừa cười vừa học tiếng Anh thì có thể xem cái The Ellen Show. Ellen chắc là mọi người cũng biết cái cô Ellen DeGeneres. Trên YouTube mọi người có thể lên đó, và cái trang của Ellen thì có rất là nhiều clip cỡ 4 phút cho đến thường là 4 phút thôi, đủ ngắn để mình không có chán, đúng không? Và cổ thì cực kỳ hài, danh hài mà, cho nên nói một hồi là cứ cười ra. Ngoài ra mấy cái clip của cổ có khi là chơi game với lại một số người nổi tiếng nữa, thì các bạn thử, chẳng hạn như là mình đang mê một người nào đó thì cứ đánh cái tên người đó và đi thêm chữ Ellen kế bên là sẽ ra một cái clip, tại vì cổ hay rất là hay phỏng vấn những người nổi tiếng ha. Rồi nếu mà các bạn mà không coi không hiểu có thể tìm cái nút CC ở góc phải của cái clip, đó là cái nút phụ đề đấy, bấm vào và chọn phụ đề tiếng Anh. Có khi thì phụ đề nó là tự động, nhưng mà người bản xứ nói thì cái phụ đề nó bắt, nó dịch ra cũng khá là chính xác, có thể là 90 mấy % luôn, cho nên chắc cũng không đến nỗi là inaccurate, đúng không? Rồi một cái nguồn tiếp theo đó là cái nguồn TED Ed. Cái nguồn này là một cái những cái video, tập hợp những cái video nhỏ nhỏ, mang tính khá là gần học thuật, nhưng mà nó rất là gần gũi với chúng mình. Tại vì những cái clip trong đó nó thường là nói về những cái vấn đề, ví dụ như là tại sao chúng ta lại nói dối, hay là tại sao chúng ta nên chẳng hạn như là nếu mà cơ thể mình thiếu nước thì điều gì sẽ xảy ra. Đó, những cái chuyện đó là gần với cuộc sống, nhưng mà nó giải thích theo một cái cạnh là theo cái khía cạnh khoa học. Cho nên những cái từ vựng cũng rất là hay, và một số cái cách diễn đạt nó rất là phù hợp với lại Speaking Part 3, thì các bạn xem và có thể góp nhặt từ vựng gì đấy cho mình ha. Và nó có thể bấm vào phần CC nếu mà mình bắt không kịp cái tốc độ nói á. Và người dẫn chuyện thì cũng nói chuyện cực kỳ rõ và cuốn hút, cho nên đây là một cái nguồn cũng rất là hay, mình cũng hay xem. Rồi, và nguồn cuối cùng đó là một cái nguồn tên là Wonderful Production. Đây là một cái trang rất là yêu thích của mình, tại vì trang này là do một nhóm diễn viên người Mỹ nhưng mà là gốc châu Á, đến từ nhiều nơi lắm. Như là ba mẹ của họ đến từ Việt Nam, đến từ Trung Quốc này kia, đến từ Philippines, nhưng mà họ là sinh ra và lớn lên ở Mỹ, cho nên họ chính là người bản xứ luôn đấy. Và những cái clip của họ thì nó khá là gần gũi với mình, tại vì đôi khi mình là người châu Á mà, thì những cái nội dung mà họ đề cập đến trong cái phim á, nó cũng rất là gần với mình, và họ nói tiếng Mỹ chuẩn, cho nên nghe rất là đã. Nhưng mà cái phần này thì nó khá là nâng cao, tại vì mình nghĩ là ngôn ngữ họ nói rất là nhanh, cho nên nó phù hợp với lại những bạn học đến cấp độ cao trung cấp hoặc là cao cấp nha. Đó, thì đó là những cái trang YouTube mà mình thường xem nhất. Alright, I guess that's it for the Q&A session for today's episode, and we'll continue in another episode with more questions, okay? So, coming up next, Andy has some movies and TV series to introduce to you guys, and they are some of his favorite, and they are also my favorite. Because I watched them when I was a kid, you know. So for those of you who were born from 1995 and after, let's see how many of them you can recognize, okay?
Hey guys, Andy again, and here comes movie review, a segment in which I will select one movie to introduce you guys. And what is even better is that I will try to use a lot of good vocabularies for the IELTS speaking, so that you guys can use them too in your IELTS exam. And today's theme is going back in time to the 80s, the 90s, and I was born in the 90s. And back then, I and my friends were like super crazy about one Japanese manga series, that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Have you heard about it? If you were born in the late 90s and the early 2000s and from 2000 onwards, then you probably do not hear about it as much as I did when I was a kid. Okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually a manga series focusing on the main protagonist, Yugi Muto, a timid young boy who loves every kind of game. And one day he discovers some sort of game that is an ancient, mysterious artifact called the Millennium Puzzle. And he discovers the puzzle and he solves it. And after that, the spirit of an ancient pharaoh is unleashed from the puzzle and enters the body of Yugi Muto. So from now on, there are like two distinctive personalities living inside the physical body of Yugi. One of which is Yugi himself, and the other, which is, like the spirit of the pharaoh. So are you guys still with me? I know. So basically, Yugi now has two personalities. He's like having two-faced. I hope I do not complicate you guys because this plot of this series could be a little bit complicated and obscure to a lot of people. The best thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, and this is probably the best thing about this series, is that in the manga, Yugi often plays some sort of trading card games, like it is actually called Duel Monsters. In this game, there will be like two players, and each of them has a deck of 40 cards. There are many kinds of cards, from monster cards, spell cards, to trap cards, and each player has to, fight off each other with their own cards until one of them loses all their life points, which are initially 4,000. This game was really famous back in the 80s and back in the 90s, and when I was little, I was like super fanatic about this game because every time Yugi plays a card and he places it on the board, a monster suddenly arises from the card like a 3D image. It was really fascinating. This manga series has been adapted into a number of animated movies. For example, like in 2004, Yu-Gi-Oh! The movies, The Pyramid of Light, was released in America, and it was phenomenal. I remembered watching it on TV years later, and I was really astonished at all the visual effects depicting the fight scenes and the duels, monsters, beautifully. I highly recommend you guys watching those movies because, the movie is not just about the visual effects. It is also about friendship between Yugi and his friends and how they all work together to conquer all the challenges and the difficulties to know the true meaning of the Millennium Puzzle. All the movies are already, released in English, so you guys can learn some English as well. And I hope that after you watch, after watching all the movies of Yugi, you guys will become, big fans of this trading card game just like me. Well, the show is coming towards the end, and before we say goodbye, I just want to remind you guys that the newest episode of IELTS FACE-OFF was aired last night with our special guest Reup, who is a yogi, and he has done something really extraordinary, that he has quitted his job in New York City to move back to Vietnam to teach yoga. I was really inspired learning his story because he has quitted his job, a very high status job in New York, to follow his passion, that is yoga. And on the segment The IELTS on the Go, our host Đặng has gone to Central Vietnam to meet a lot of talented students in Quốc học Huế High School, and I must say that they speak English really well, to be honest, as high school students. So if you missed this episode, be sure to check it out on the official YouTube channel of IELTS FACE-OFF, okay? And don't forget to tune in to IELTS FACE-OFF next week with a lot of interesting stuff. You guys are going to have the chance to meet a young anthropologist who has traveled long distance to Vietnam, her motherland, to learn more about this country and the people here. And on the segment The IELTS on the Go, our host Đặng will continue his journey in Central Vietnam, more specifically in Huế, and to meet a lot of talented and well-spoken students in the city. And as usual, there will be a lot of useful IELTS tips from our IELTS expert on the show. To catch all of these interesting stuff, all you need to do is tune in to IELTS FACE-OFF at 9 p.m. next Saturday, the 2nd of December, only on VTV7. Okay, so that is the end of today's episode of Musketeer Inbox. I'm Andy from the IELTS Musketeer team, and we will see you in the next episode of Musketeer Inbox next Sunday. Goodbye.
Now it's time to study IELTS.
Góc kiểm tra bài cũ, một từ mới mà bạn đã học được trong bài học ngày hôm qua là gì? Comment ngay nhé!
Hello guys, welcome back to English in a Minute. Today we will be introducing you guys to a new word phrase, which is wing it. To wing something is to go in and do something without any preparation whatsoever. For an example, maybe if I have a math test tomorrow and I haven't prepared or trained for it at all, but I'm just gonna wing it tomorrow and see what I get.
Havana, hey, Havana, my heart is in Havana.
Hey, so hello, I've been willing to meet you for a while now because I have a challenge for you. I challenge you to sing a Vietnamese song, but in English.
Wow, I had no preparation today, but I would just wing it anyway.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
It's gonna be I Wish by Mỹ Tâm. I wish you are here with me. I wish it not meant to be, and I wish you would be here. And Bernie, where are you? I'm singing.
Hello guys, welcome back to English in a Minute. Today we will be introducing you guys to a new word phrase, which
Như vậy là các bạn đã vừa được học thêm một cái cụm, đó là wing something, tức là tùy cơ ứng biến với điều gì đó. Em đang soạn bài cho lớp Junior High School. Đang soạn bài thì soạn bài đi. Và nhớ là phải tập trung nha. Play by ear có nghĩa là wing something. Các bạn đã vừa đến với khung giờ đầu tiên của Now It's Time to Study IELTS cùng với những Musketeer, cùng với những cái bài giảng kiến thức bổ trợ ở trong IELTS. Ở khung giờ tiếp theo thì chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với một playlist tiếp theo. Và ở cái playlist này thì chúng ta sẽ có một cái tập full phát sóng. Và ở tập này chúng ta sẽ gặp gỡ một chàng trai. Đây là một người bạn cũ của mình. Cách đây hình như là gần 20 năm về trước á, tụi mình có tham gia một cuộc thi của VTV2. Đó là cuộc thi English Speaking Contest. Và mình nằm ở cùng bảng với lại anh Vũ. Lúc đó thì tụi mình phải đi tàu từ Sài Gòn ra Hà Nội và để đến đài truyền hình để đi thi. Nhưng cũng vui lắm, mà sau đó thì trở thành bạn của nhau. Anh Vũ sau này làm cho một cái agency ở trong Sài Gòn, sau đó đi sang Singapore, sang Thái Lan làm, chinh chiến từ Google cho đến Facebook và có những cái spirit cực kỳ thú vị. Hy vọng rằng trong cái tập này thì các bạn sẽ có được nhiều từ vựng chắc chắn rồi, nhưng mà cũng có được thêm một cái tinh thần học tập để cho mình có thể chinh phục được nhiều mục tiêu khác nhau. Và cái chân trời rộng mở của mình, cái hành trình của mình đâu chỉ gói gọn chỉ ở trong Việt Nam, trong một cái tỉnh này, mà nó còn là ở nhiều chỗ khác nhau nữa. Hy vọng rằng sẽ truyền được cảm hứng đối với các bạn. Và ngoài ra chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với cái hành trình của Khánh Vi của IELTS on the Go, với người hùng đạt giải Nobel xanh bảo vệ loài TT ở tại rừng Cúc Phương. Tháng trước thì mình cũng mới đi Cúc Phương, không phải tháng trước mà cái đêm tuần trước mới đi Cúc Phương, và vẫn luôn luôn rất là thích cái thiên nhiên ở đây. Hy vọng là sẽ có một dịp sớm để quay trở lại. Và ở giữa nó sẽ có rất là nhiều những cái câu chuyện khác nhau. Apple News chúng ta có nền kinh tế toàn cầu chịu ảnh hưởng như thế nào bởi đại dịch Covid-19. Một bài TED Talk cũng khá là thú vị đến từ một người bạn ở Stanford, là một trong những cái trường rất là nổi tiếng ở Mỹ. Nói về là life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Cuộc sống sẽ bắt đầu ở cuối vùng an toàn của bạn ra sao. Nào, chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với khung giờ tiếp theo và mong các bạn sẽ tiếp tục giữ lửa để có thể học được nhiều thứ hay ho, hữu ích và giá trị ở trong cái playlist trong khung giờ tiếp theo của Now It's Time to Study IELTS các bạn nhé.
Cả lớp sẵn sàng, giấy, bút, học.
never been easier to purchase IELTS books with the show. Just go to tiki.vn, and with just one mouse click, you'll be able to find the perfect IELTS books you've been waiting for. Purchase anywhere and receive discounts. Go to tiki.vn and buy. It's IELTS Face-Off again! With every episode, we definitely have clues, and the producers will give me a certain type of clue, and I think I'm seeing my first clue. It is a boat. Do we have a fisherman in this episode, I wonder? Or an engineer? Oh, an anchor. So maybe relating to sailing, but it's still very positioned in, you know, the hometown. So somebody who's very, very strong in their roots, but yet travels. Or fisherman. I don't know yet, so let's see.
My name is Lam Anvu. I have spent more than 1/3 of my life working overseas and I'm loving it. There's a saying, happiness is a journey, not a destination. And I'm pretty much in this journey. Today I'm here with all of you, another exciting and memorable stop in this journey. Let's get going.
Oh, our guest is Anvu. I can see the relationship between him and sailing away. So guys, let's go meet him. Come sail away, come sail and sail with me. Well, we're in the studio and our guest is right here. I don't want to make him wait, even though he has a wide smile on his face. But hi.
Hello, hello. See you.
Nice to see you. Have a seat. Yeah, it's my first time meeting you, but I'm so excited to start the conversation.
Me too. I'm very excited.
Okay, so IELTS hot seat coming right up next. Please, don't go away. I've wanted to speak to you because I think you are exemplary of a person who made their way, you know, to an international stage from a worker here in Vietnam, not somebody who studies abroad and then tried to remain in that country. So can you walk us through that journey?
Sure. I think it's been a while. I think I was when I joined this advertising agency, and the first day I remember, I say I would like to be the first Vietnamese working for a regional office. I think that was my dream, and luckily after 2 years, I worked my way up and I got a job in Bangkok, and I was the first Vietnamese who got a chance to work in the regional office. And to me, up to this point, looking back, it's still really one of my proudest moments, I guess.
Why did you pick Singapore as a destination after Bangkok and not Vietnam?
Very interesting question, not an easy one. To be honest, after Bangkok, the job is, I need to relocate to Singapore for the regional role, because back then the whole regional office moving to Singapore. I was still very hungry for more. And at that point, I didn't think going back was an option for me. I want to continue growing, and that's when I started applying. I didn't go to the same company, so I went to another agency, and that's how I ended up in Singapore. And it's been 10 years, and I'm still loving it.
You had to prove it to a lot of people to make it to where you are today. And at the same time, you tell me you're a happy person. Those two things seem to a little bit, to be conflicting. So how do you remain ambitious and yet happy?
I show my true self at work. I think that's what I believe. And that's what other companies that I work for believe as well. You need to bring your authentic self to work. So I don't change myself. If I'm happy outside of work, I'm happy. I'm the same Vu at work. I need to work harder and focus more. And you're right. I think there's lots of competition when you work for multinational companies. I guess you just need to be yourself, work really hard, and be nice. I believe in being nice to others.
Now, have relationships changed for you over the past couple of years and ever since you became a coach? You know, you've coached over 200 hours internally and externally.
Relationship also changes, right? I think one of my major breakup was just at that tipping point when I was about to become a coach. And I'm always appreciated for that opportunity. Coaching really helped me not only just recover, but also use that energy and that time to help others. So I'm very grateful.
So I remember, and it was one of my favorite thinkers, and Khanh, and he said, you know, a person's existence is not just a mere person's existence. And a person's existence, it only matters when he or she is able to listen truthfully to another person. And I find it super you know, like revolutionary, because when we're the most down and if we're able to help somebody else, then I think that also lifts us up.
Definitely. I cannot agree more with you on that point. I think listening is one of the best gifts you can give someone. Sometimes people don't need advice. They just need you to be there, to listen, to feel heard. You know, I think that's only one sometimes.
Now, you mentioned something that's super interesting about giving advice. Now, you said your goal is not to give advice. Your goal is to listen and guide people to their own advice. How does that work?
I think that's the beauty of coaching. I think as a coach, I never give advice to people. My job is to be there, to listen and ask questions so that you will find the answer on your own. Because we believe that you have the answer. You just don't know that you have the answer. So I'm just there to facilitate the process of thinking, and hopefully you get clarity and find your own answer.
I think a lot of the people who watch our show are young. They are lost because, of course, which young person is not lost?
We still lost, you know?
Yes, of course. You know, we're all lost in a way. We're all trying to find our way, right? There are a lot of people who don't have that much confidence in their dreams and their aspirations, don't have a lot of confidence in their communication skills. What advice do you have for these people?
To all the young fellows out there, it's okay if you don't know the answer. Nobody knows the answer, right? Nobody knows full answer. Even now at this age, we still lost sometimes, literally or figuratively. The key thing is, as long as you know a little bit of where you want to go, you need to take that action. I think the moment you take that action, what if you fail? Okay, you learn from that. But what if you succeed? You gain from that. And don't be afraid that, oh my God, I don't know anything, I don't know what I want in my life. You do, just a little bit will do. Be intentional about what you want, but also be vocal about that. Because if you don't come for help, if you do not lean in, people cannot read your mind, right? So ask for help. People will be there and willing to help you. So I think that's super important.
So this is an English show. It's an educational show. So we're always going to ask all of our guests what their favorite idiom or vocabulary is. So what is yours?
Wow, okay. My vocabulary is very simple. Love.
Okay.
I think you cannot be sad when you say the word love, you know? And the idiom of saying, I guess the word, the saying is, let your heart rule your head. Because so often we listen to our head, but I believe our heart is so powerful and it has so much wisdom, we just neglect our heart. So I think just listen more to our heart, love more. I think that's the most important thing.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, for us to be able to truly understand our heart or our emotional needs is extremely important.
Super.
Yeah. So, anh Vũ, what is your experience to study English to become as good as you are?
Wow, I think just practice. I remember when I was young, I just watched a lot of American movies with subtitles, and then you just picked up from that. I think that's one. And the most important thing is practice. Don't be afraid. Just speak. And just get over your shyness, you know, and then you learn from that and you get better.
How would you build up on your vocabulary and your grammar and your idioms and expressions?
You go to school
Yes.
to learn from that and do lots of homework, exercise. It's hard work. It's not just it didn't just came naturally, you know, you need to learn because that's not our language.
Do you feel like speaking to somebody who is a native English speaker helps?
Definitely, because that's their native language, right? So you get to learn so much from that, and you learn from their pronunciation, intonation, etc. It's really good.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, you know, we do have actually a resource to share with you. If you are looking to practice English with a native speaker, you can actually download and go onto an app. It's called Cambly, C-A-M-B-L-Y, and you can actually have time to practice with a native speaker. We have different codes available to help you get started, so make sure you check out those codes and get on your way to speaking and doing English better. So in our show, we always have book recommendations. So let's find out what anh Vu's book recommendation is.
My favorite book up to this point is The Last Lecture by Randy Post. He's the late professor. And that was literally his last lecture about life, about, you know, what if you have that many days left in your life, what would you do? It's just so much love in that book about love for family, for his student, for his job, for his life, you know? and be grateful and do not take anything for granted. I guess that's some lesson I learned from the book.
That's fantastic. So if you are looking to buy the last lecture, you can always look for books online at tiki.vn. And wherever you are, whatever time it is, you can always select the book that you want and read away to more knowledge.
Okay.
Well, now we're going to go to our IELTS challenge.
Challenge.
Yes.
Ready.
All right, IELTS challenge coming right up next. If you're excited to learn how we can challenge each other to a great game, please check it out. This is the IELTS Face-Off challenge, and our contender today, Anh Vũ, will debate with me. So let's see what our motto is today. The motion today is there are more opportunities overseas as compared to where a person was born. You're for, I am against.
Yes.
So because you're for, you're going to start. Each of us has 30 seconds, and we're going to go 3 rounds.
Yes. Let me start first. The reason I'm pro for this motion because when you work overseas, you have more opportunity. Let's start with professional gain. For you to grow, to learn a new language, to work in a multinational, multicultural environment, more opportunity to grow yourself and to push yourself outside of comfort zone. That's my first reason why I'm pro for this motion.
I agree with your analysis. I do think that experiences overseas are very valuable in training a person and challenging a person. However, the actual motion is a little bit different. Opportunities. In each person's hometown, there are a specific opportunity that's very specific to that hometown. Let's say in a country that I am now in, multiple opportunities arise because the country is developing. Multiple opportunities arise because there's a lot of even foreign direct investment. So in terms of opportunities, as you said, right, we don't change the card, we change how to play the card so we can play the different cards so that we have a lot of opportunities.
So I hear you. At the same time, I feel beside the professional opportunities, you also have that personal growth, personal opportunities. Think about, like I mentioned earlier, the whole point about putting yourself outside your comfort zone. You have to be on your own feet, find out everything on your own. I think that is incredible, amazing opportunity for you to grow. So I think for that reason, I'm still wholeheartedly believe for pro that there are more opportunities working overseas.
I think that what you say is absolutely correct. But however, I do think that there are a lot of opportunities people can make for themselves, and there are a lot of challenges people can make for themselves over here at home. We create opportunities. Ask any person and tell them, are you 100% comfortable? The majority will not say that they are 100% comfortable. So that means that there will always be challenges within their hometown for them to work on. Number 2, the world is now a globalized stage. You can stay in this country and still work with everybody else around the world. So your colleagues and your work environment can be global.
Thumbs up again. It's my turn now. You're a very good debater. I think my last point I want to make here is the connection that you make. The friendship, the network that you build when you work overseas is enormous. And I think about, for my case, most of my best friends are not even Vietnamese. Most of my best friends are Indian, Singaporean, or Thais, So I value that connection and that friendship. And I think that's what, if I could choose one best reason, that's the main reason, that connection in life. So now every time I go anywhere, I have friends out there. Yes.
I think that the kind of connection and the kinds of friendships that you're talking about, I think are greatly fantastic. And I also think that they can be established in a lot of places. Tinder, for example, Facebook, for example, being in forums. So there are people that are friends with you even when you haven't met them before. Of course, it gives you another opportunity and reason for you to travel. And if you're talking about people who don't yet have the ability, who don't yet have the English skills to go abroad, I think their first step is going to be for them to maximize the opportunities in the country. For people that have a great command of English, who are really, really passionate, who are super ambitious, then I also think that they can really be big in the country.
Really good.
All right, so our time is up, both of us. I think both of us are winners.
Yeah, I think the point here is not like there's always pro and con in our own debate, I think.
Life is never black and white. Life is always a dynamic conversion of black and white.
And it's also about how you react to that.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you so much for coming.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So guys, if you were inspired by the talk today, make sure you continue to check out our next section because you'll get more very good tips from our IELTS experts. IELTS experts, right after this.
Next,
IELTS on the go, and our brand new, freshly young host, Nguyễn Thảo will travel to Bình Dương to meet and greet the cutie girls from Xi'an High School. They will share with you many wonderful life stories and English approaching with you. And who will be the one to be chosen as Voice of the Week? We'll see. Next part surely will be so exciting. But first, let's get back to the studio with our IELTS expert Richard Cherry right now.
This is the IELTS expert section, and we have Richard here with us today. Hi, Richard.
Hey, great to be here.
That's great. Are you ready to go to Bình Dương today?
Let's do it. Bing Zuang, here we come.
All right, Thảo Tâm, take it away to Bình Dương, please.
With studying for the IELTS, a good prep book is a must.
IELTS books are rare to find, mostly out of stock, overpriced.
Well, but do you know there's a wealth of IELTS prep materials on tiki.vn? Ordering is a breeze, shipping is lightning fast, and they have tons of promotions to get you that sweet, sweet savings. Getting IELTS prep materials has never been easier, so log on to tiki.vn today.
Hi Phoebe, hi studio, and we're back in Bình Dương today and with a fresh new group of girls from Xi'an High School. Now I'm gonna let them tell you a bit about themselves.
My name is Joanne. Hi guys, my name is Me, and I'm classmate of these two beautiful girls.
And last but not least,
hi, my name is Kim.
So all of our three beautiful ladies are very interested in learning English. However, prior to our talk, I've heard you guys say that Bình Dương isn't very well known for learning English. So why do you think that is a problem?
Because parents here, they spend a lot of time at work and they don't think that English is like important subject for students. They just think that math, chemistry or physics, that's really necessary for children. So they think that their children should spend more time on learning these subjects rather than English.
How come the three of you still approach English the way you do? And how was your start with learning English?
We actually supply ourselves many organizations, and we just like dive into many activities in Ho Chi Minh City. So yeah, we discover ourselves. We supply the condition for ourselves.
And for me, I have spent 4 years in language centers just learning grammar. I remember that one time I met a couple of friends. They are speaking English together and I can't hear anything. So at that time I found that English, especially speaking, is really important to me. So I spend more time learning this skill.
You girls seem very well oriented. You seem very organized. So what are your biggest tips in learning English?
The biggest tips that I want to share to you guys is be active. Just learn yourself and don't ever depend on anyone or any materials.
That's very cool. And one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today is about the learning methods and how that would impact your learning of English. So according to several scientific studies, the learning methods of us could be split into 3 categories. Visual, which is using the eye. Audio, which is using the ears and listening. And the third one would be kinesthetic, which is using bodily movements. Now, I'd like to ask you guys about what learning style you are.
I think that I'm kind of person who really visual. I can sit in front of a desk and a lot of materials and spend long hours to read all of them and remember. Sometimes when I feel that really boring or exhausted, I stand up and try to imagine that I'm a teacher and teach the lesson inside the material for others.
people.
Yes, to remember the lesson.
Right. And how about me?
Actually, I don't have a fixed style to learn. So it's just like a mix between that 3 styles.
Right.
Yeah, and me exactly is the last method, which is really energetic. I go to the kitchen, I lie in my bed,
Right.
yes, and I can't stand the feeling that settle down on the seat to learn the things that I need. But I have to move, I have to do some maybe stupid things.
There are a lot of ways to study. So IELTS on the Go is going to provide you guys with an opportunity to send one person here to take a real-time English speaking test. So you guys discuss amongst yourself and decide who's gonna come with me, okay? Okay, discuss. Right. So they're discussing, they're gonna choose for me one person to bring to the IELTS speaking test room. Now, one thing I find really admirable about these three girls is their ability to overcome the odds. Even though they weren't provided with the easiest environment. So, who of these three respectable girls are gonna join me for the test in IELTS? Let's see. So, I'm back. So, who's it gonna be?
We decided to give opportunity for this girl.
Yeah, and
So?
I will be the victim.
You're gonna be our victim. Okay, Kim-an, let's go. Let's go.
Try your best.
Wish her the best.
So are you ready to face off with Kim Anh?
Ready. Let's do it. Come on.
And we have chosen voice of this week, Kim Anh. And let's see how well she deals with the real-time speaking test when she has to face off our IELTS expert in the speaking test room. Let's cross the fingers for her and her performance. Next, you can't miss the useful tips for this week. Richard and Phoebe will discuss on the tips for speaking part 2. How we can ignore the difficult cues. And in Book of the Week, we will introduce you a familiar series, Cambridge IELTS. It will give you a good general indication of your current level. Sounds cool, right? So don't go anywhere. The next part of your show is coming right now.
Hello, welcome to the speaking test. My name is Richard. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Kim Anh.
Okay, thank you. Let's move into part 1 and let's talk about names. How did your parents choose your name?
Actually, my name wasn't chosen by my parents, but my grandmother. And I've never asked the reason why she took this name for me. But in Vietnamese meaning, Kim Anh means poor, a little girl who is intelligent. So I think this is the desire of my grandmother when took this name for me.
All right, thanks very much. Let's move on to part 2. I'd like you to describe a day when you thought the weather was perfect.
Oh well, my nearest perfect day was on last weekend when I had a day off. And through back to that day, on the morning I was woken up by the early morning sunshine. And after that, I spent all my whole morning to prepare for my family's lunch. And because I'm a rain lover, so absolutely my perfect day had rain. About 11 a.m. it started raining, and near 1 p.m. it was raining cats and dogs. At that time, I was lying in my bed listening to my favorite music of my perennial singer, Lana Del Rey. And I also reading my favorite books. After 3 hours chilling out, I took my camera and my younger sister took her umbrella, and we rotated to have some pictures under the falling rains together. And finally, it's not about the day off that make last weekend become my meaningful day, but it's about the time that I spend for my family, the time that I spend for myself that make last weekend become my most meaningful day, and as well as my perfect day.
Thank you. Let's move on to part 3 and we'll talk about the weather. What types of weather do people in your country dislike most, and why is that?
Vietnamese people don't really love wet day because they may get tough on road to go to work, to go to school, and they also feel that annoying with the thunder.
Thank you. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you so much.
Oh, she's back. She's back. Hi. So, how was the test?
It's kind of challenging because this is the first time I tried taking test of the IELTS test.
Yeah, so how did you feel when you finished the test? Relief, right? So Kim is very relieved after finishing the test. So let's head to the IELTS studio and hear what our expert has to say about your performance.
So Richard, what do you think of Kim Yang's performance?
A few areas of pronunciation that she might think about looking into. So one very noticeable one was the sound. So she spoke about her grandmother and the reason she took this name and so on. It's noticeable. It's only an individual sound. As is characteristic, I mean, she was dropping a few final consonant sounds. She had a few little errors here and there, which were familiar errors. So we had some third person dropping. Also some dropping of plurals. I think people don't love rainy day. Okay, a few little accuracy errors that she may want to attend to now, because at some point, there is that ceiling where, if you do exhibit these little errors, you can't rise above that in the grammar band score. And yeah, it was generally a very good performance. So yeah.
Very good job. Good job. Thank you so much for being with us here today, and thank you for inspiring us to take initiative in our own learning of English. So as appreciation, here are our little gifts from VTV, British Council, and also Tiki.vn. And we really hope this is going to aid your journey with English and further your education and your own self-interest. That's it today for the IELTS on the go section. But remember, coming up next is the tips, and tips section, which is really useful, so stick around.
So what tips do you have as an expert for the speaking session?
Okay, I think we've been looking at a tip that suggests that it's not important in speaking part 2 to follow all of the prompts, the bullet points that are given, or it's not necessary, I should say, and that's absolutely correct. They are not there. I mean, there is nothing in the exam that says, did the student answer all those bullet points? So yeah, what I often advise people to do when looking at the part 2 question is to let the question remind them of a story. If you're just remembering a story about something that really happened to you, it's less cognitive load than having to make something up. You have to speak English, and that's hard work, but if you're just telling a story that you already know, that at some level is going to help you. The other thing is that by doing so, you are probably showing a greater range of grammar structures by talking about something that occurred in the past, rather than simply describing the way, in that minute thinking time, spend a little time to let this prompt remind you of a story, and then you've got tons of backup material you could keep speaking for 2 minutes easily, I hope.
And of course, guys, every week we have our book suggestion for you. So check out our book suggestion for this week.
These practice tests are authentic as they were written using the same process that real IELTS tests are developed. Each book has 4 academic tests and 2 general training tests. There are sample written essays with examiner comments and scores. It is important to note, do not use Cambridge IELTS number 1 to number 4 since they are out of date. The IELTS tests changed after they were published.
Hey guys, if you're looking to purchase those books, make sure you use the Tiki app. The app can be on your phone, and with just one swipe, you'll be able to get the books delivered to your home. Very, very easy. Well, thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Yeah. I remember when I was 15, that was the first time that I left the house for good. Fearful of what the next 10 years would look like for me without my parents beside me. What was I going to do when an issue arose? And what was I going to do when I fell sick? But I also remember my friends at 18, their parents kind of kicked them out of the house because now they're all adults and it doesn't make sense for adults to be living with their parents. And I also see, people in Vietnam living with their family all the way until they're 30, 40 years old. So I think the term sailing away can mean travel, but I think it really is the gateway to knowledge and information and experience that we have never seen before in our life growing up. And I think if there's that one thing for us to invest in, if let's say we're 15, 16, or 20, 25, or even 30, it is the investment in knowledge and experience. And going to different locations, meeting different people, I think is a way for us to really up our treasures, our knowledge treasure box, and enable us to be more informed, to make better decisions, and to be able to communicate better with different people in society. And today, I feel truly blessed to be able to speak to somebody who started his sailing away journey quite late in life, but yet he's able to share with us great, great stories. So guys, it's never too late to start. And if this is the time for us all to start, I think it is now. So make sure you tune in to us every week, and we're going to see you again next week. Bye!
Study IELTS.
Đỉnh quá Reup ơi, Trang thật sự sắp 10 giờ tới nơi rồi, cố lên nào cả lớp ơi.
Hi everyone! I know that during this COVID time you are spending more time indoor and online, so I consider myself to be a very fortunate person in this majesty of Cúc Phương National Park in Ninh, and I can hear the sound of the wildlife, I can feel the beauty of the trees, of the mountains, and if you are spending more time in the nature, you've probably noticed that we are becoming kinder, happier, and it reminds me of the importance of being consciously, environmentally, the importance of conserving the nature. And that is also, the main theme of IELTS on the Go, this episode. I'm holding this amazingly beautiful trophy, Goldman Environmental Prize, which is like the Green Nobel. And let's meet and have a talk with the only Asian representative of this year, the hero from Vietnam, anh Nguyễn Văn Thảo. Let's go. This trophy is really heavy. I think I should return this to the owner. Em chào anh Thái.
Chào em, chào khán giả ở trường quay IFO.
And hello, studio. Thank you for letting me use this trophy for a while. And thank you so much for spending time with us. First up, congratulations on the prize. And this year you are the only Asian representative to get this prize. How did you feel?
First is I'm very surprised about I got the prize, and but feeling very proud about it because the work of myself and my colleagues has been internationally recognized. I don't think it's a prize for that myself. Is it for all of the people working on wildlife conservation in Vietnam? And I hope with this prize, it's bring more motivation and to really help for wildlife conservation.
Wow, you know, a very interesting fun fact is that anh Thái didn't know anything about the prize. The organization committee nominated him without him noticing, without him knowing, and looking at your work throughout the 20 years, right? So let's talk about your job. What got you into this beautiful job at first?
The first is like because I live near the forest. When I was young, I be able to see the wildlife and see the nature and experience with nature. When I growing up, I saw a lot of the tree being cutting down, the animal being poached for the traditional medicine and food consumption. Because that, I really want to doing something to against the loss and to protect the nature. When in 2014, I found Save Vietnam Wildlife, with the mission is really want Vietnamese people take more leadership to do the conservation and to be able to call for all of the Vietnamese people to join together to protect the nature. And since 2014, we've been able to rescue nearly 2,000 animals from illegal wildlife trade of 40 different species. Not that only rescue animals and release them back to the wild, we also doing the education, inspire thousands of people and community around the forest, get them involved in conservation and take care of the nature. We're doing the research and to provide the recommendation for the Vietnamese government to change the law, and also with for join the international workshop conference to be able to bring the pangolin more attention.
And as far as I know, your team has saved nearly 2,000 lives of pangolins, and you founded the very first organization to conserve the pangolins. So why pangolins?
When I was young, one time I saw the mom and baby being pushed by the local people. And I saw the mom try to queue up into the bowl to protect the baby, but she couldn't again the poacher. And that is make me feel really sad of like the animal is doing nothing harm to people. They really friendly. They haven't noticed. They cannot fight.
Yes.
But because the problem of people and it makes the pangolin going to extinct.
That is certainly the reason that motivated you to work non-stop for almost 20 years.
Now it's time to study IELTS.
Hello, welcome back to English in a Minute. Today's word phrase is mad, props to you, or just props to you. Props to you is a word used by people who want to show gratitude or respecting someone's actions. For an example, if my friend, if she donated money to charity, I'd say mad props to you or just props to you. Via, you need to try this.
No, thanks.
Come on. At least these, they're good.
Thanks, Rooney.
Oh, come on. Some candy will do the trick, won't it?
Rooney, I'm on diet. I'm trying to lose weight.
What's a diet?
Like, I refrain from eating sugar, candies, rice, carb, something related to that.
Whoa, how can you not eat rice for a day?
Oh no, I've been doing this for months.
What? I can't imagine not eating rice for a month.
Yes.
Wow, mad props to you, V. I gotta give it to you.
Probably.
So remember, guys, props to you, or mad props to you, is when you're appreciated or respected by one's action. Props to you. Thank you, guys, and see you later.
Này mà, cố lên, học chăm quá. Tuyết ơi, giỏi, tuyết ơi, đỉnh. Thêm một tí nữa thôi, con viên từ mới học. Một từ mới mà một từ mới mà bạn đã học được trong bài. Yay! Yo! Study IELTS with IFO. Mày về sửa nhá Sơn.
Now it's time to study IELTS.
The world economy's prospect looks bleak owing to COVID-19. The global health crisis is rapidly morphing into a global recession as there is a clear tension between preventing infections and ruining the economy.
Good evening and thanks for joining us today. More than 3.9 billion people, or half of the world's population, have now been asked or ordered to stay at home by their governments to prevent the spread of the deadly COVID-19 virus. The latest update shows some encouraging signs as European nations report a falling numbers of COVID-19 cases, while the US entered a peak of terrible pandemic with total deaths were approaching 10,000, more than 3 times the number killed in the 9/11 attacks on World Trade Center in New York. New York City's cemeteries even have been overwhelmed due to the soaring number of deaths, making officials consider to temporarily bury dead on the public land. The coronavirus is first and foremost a human tragedy. It does not only cause people ill, lose their life, but also make them suffer financially.
Hello, my name is Hans. I'm just here to give a short story about what happened to my situation in this corona pandemic. Personally, I had to self-isolate because it's actually a panic state here in Australia. And secondly, I had to shut down my business because I deal with food and I deal with the universities. So I had to relocate out of Brisbane to isolate and at the same time work with a government-based company that is self-isolating so they can still dig and do what they need to do for the government. The pandemic is not very bad here in Australia, but the people here hasn't experienced anything like this before, so it basically has affected everything in my life, because all my life is about hospitality, and all hospitality in Australia is shut down, including my business. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we need to look at that. And my business is on hold. I will restart when all this is over. And on a personal note, my rental properties is all gone still, because all my tenants are students, international students that rely on casual work and income to pay rent, which they do not have, and no income, no rent. And so that's a trickle effect, because now I have put my commitments on hold because they can't give me money for rent, and obviously I can't kick them out and start charging the money, because there's no money coming in from anybody. It's the same situation for everybody here. So my situation is pretty dark, but I think at the end of it, it's going to be all right. People just need to stop panicking. Is my personal feeling. I'm not panicking yet. I have lost a great deal, and I'm in a pickle, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
This is Sun, and I'm very happy to be here today to share with you my experience working from home. I mean, if you know me, you know that I have a small restaurant in Saigon. So as of right now, everything has to be shut down. But luckily though, in Saigon, you still be able to do home deliveries. So what we have been doing is cutting the staff back a lot, actually more than half. And have everybody come in and rotating so that everybody could earn a little bit of money instead of having everybody staying at home and making no money at all. And that has been actually going really well. And I think after all of the panicking set in and you slowly get used to the momentum of how we have to adjust our lives to be able to adapt to this environment, I think everybody is pretty content and happy that they are able to actually make a little bit of income and know that we as business owner, we really want to help us to get through this together. That's take a little bit of adjustment, but I think it come out pretty good in the end.
Hello viewers, we are back to IFO News with me, Khanh. Yes, everyone is suffering. The world economy enters an unprecedented crisis. In the US, more than 6.6 US workers filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week, on top of 3.3 million a week earlier, marking unprecedented devastation across the labor market. The jobless rate today is almost certainly higher at any point since the Great Depression in 1930s. The pandemic has prompted many economists to focus on ways to address it and anticipate its aftermath. I would like to have a chat with Mr. William Pulu, Master in Economics and Finance at ESBC Business School in Paris, to understand how this pandemic affects the global economy. Bonsoir, Monsieur William. So can you tell me how bad is the economic impact caused by COVID-19? Is going to be worse than the 2008 recession, in your opinion?
But the main difference between the COVID-19 and the 2008 recession is that during this one, a significant part of workers cannot operate as they could in the past. Therefore, lots of contracts are being cut due to the lack of confidence and visibility in the near future. So if some industries benefit from this crisis, such as the e-commerce sector, I think most sectors really suffer from this crisis. As of today, it seems pretty obvious to say that the extent of this recession will be significantly higher than in 2008. If the 2008 recession was caused by internal factors to the system, this one is caused by external elements that we could not master.
The coronavirus has been relentless. It has taken the notion of global interdependence to the point of criticality. The virus is now setting off a cascade of health, economic, and social effects that challenges globalization.
So, you know that the pandemic has exposed the market vulnerabilities. So, do you think that the virus can put an end for the globalization?
I think this is the first time since modern times that we see something like this. And this is really complicated to assess the extent of the damages on the economy. On the other hand, these financial institutions are more capable of resisting this crisis this time. The issue of the 2008 financial crisis is mainly due to the fact that most banks and insurances didn't have enough equity to absorb their losses. Financial regulations have put an end on this, and now I cannot say that they are not fully prepared, but the capacity to handle this crisis is much more appropriate than it was before. Then I don't think this crisis will cause the end of globalization, but it is sure that it will oblige governments to find new mechanisms to prevent such future events from having the same negative impact on the economy and on people's health.
Thank you, Pulu, so much for partaking the interview. IFO News will continue with Tu Dương, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The future still look very uncertain. We don't know what are waiting for us ahead, but we do know that the whole world is putting efforts in fighting this virus as well as preventing the tragic consequences on the global economies as much as possible.
The virtual summit of the G20 today was a defining moment for international cooperation. For tackling the global economic consequences that come along with this pandemic, leaders at the G20 emphasized on the need for a true global fiscal stimulus which aims at funding not only big businesses and lead firms, but to the workers and small to mid-sized enterprises worldwide, especially those in developing countries.
Thank you, Dương, for your info updated from the Summit G20. Hopefully, we can reunite very, very soon. Next episode, maybe? Who knows? So yes, we are living in the most challenging time since the World War II. And what the world needs right now is solidarity. This is also a message delivered by the UN ship, Antonio Guterres. His message will be the conclusion for today's show. So stay strong, stay calm, stay awesome as you always are. Goodbye for now.
What is needed is a large-scale, coordinated and comprehensive multilateral response amounting to at least 10% of global GDP. Developed countries can do it by themselves, and some are indeed doing so. But we must massively increase the resources available to the developing world. Everything we do during and after this crisis must be with a strong focus on building more equal, inclusive and sustainable economies and societies that are more resilient in the face of pandemics, climate change and the many other global challenges we face. What the world needs now is solidarity.
Study IELTS.
It's a cold and foggy winter morning, and I'm standing on the world's tallest bungee platform. The platform I'm standing on is so tiny that I have to stand on my toes and balance myself against the wind. The operator ties one end of the bungee cord to my ankle and throws the slack in the air. I can feel the weight of the rope on my ankles slowly dragging me down. I look down. All the buildings and roads are buried in heavy fog. There is only one voice in my head. I can't do this. So I turn around and tell them that I want to quit. And then I see a huge quote printed on the glass window right next to me. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. I don't know why, but this short yet powerful sentence gives me the final push, and before I realize it, I walk straight back to the platform and jump off the world's highest bungee platform. During the 5 seconds of free fall, I remember thinking to myself, it's not as scary as it looks. And that thought led to a whole new world. Every time I hear the voice of fear in my head, I can't leave this job because I'm not going to find anything better. I'm scared of entering a new relationship because I don't want to be hurt again. And even a minute ago, before I walked onto the stage, the voice was repeating in my head. Every time I hear that voice, I take a deep breath and tell myself it's never as scary as it looks. Let me take you back to the summer of 2007. A remote village in Cambodia, a small room in the Domestic Violence Victim Center. It's my first day of work. I walked into a room and was introduced to an 18-year-old girl. Her name was Chia. Chia was so emotionally and physically abused that she was trembling all the time and she couldn't even look at me in the eyes.
and on her face I saw fear, anxiety, and shame. And that day, Chia refused to take our help and went back to her husband, and in the course of the next few months, she would do that again and again, only come back with more bruises and cuts. Chia knew that she should leave her husband, but she was scared to because she had been married to him since 14, depended on him for survival, and did not know that she could live a life on her own. To help Chia, and thousands of other girls like Chia, I started a vocational skill training program. After 3 months of training, magic happened. Chia regained confidence and dignity, stepped out of the fear of failure, found a new job in a local hotel, and separated with her husband. She started a new chapter of life at the edge of her comfort zone. Chia might be an extreme example, but I can see myself in her, and maybe you can too. What is it that you're not doing because of fear of failure? Finding a new job, starting a new company, or asking someone out for a date? For me, it was the fear of public speaking. Whatever it is, I encourage you to try it because as Chia found, and I found, and I think you will find too, it's never as scary as it looks, and you're stronger and more capable than you thought. The second story is about embracing uncertainty. My friend Zhang lives an extremely comfortable life in Hong Kong. He works from 9 to 5 and receives a very good pay. But he's dispassionate about his job and life, and he's constantly complaining. He has lived his whole life with certainty that the fear of losing what he had is stopping him from pursuing his passion. Until one morning, I got a call from him. Hi, Yubin. I went to a positive psychology class last quarter, got so inspired, I quit my job today and I'm moving to Australia. You what? What are you going to do with your life? I asked. He said, this is the first time in life that I don't have a plan, and I feel every bit as scared as I'm excited. The next time I saw him was 6 months later. He just got back from Australia, a licensed hypnotherapist. From a trader to a hypnotherapist. I was shocked when I saw him again. His face was pink, eyes glittering, his whole body was just glowing. He is living his dream right now, traveling around the world, giving workshops and therapy sessions for thousands of people to find happiness in life. And as with Chia, I could see myself in Zhang, and maybe you can too. We're all scared of uncertainty. Giving up all you have to pursue a dream that may or may not work out. Loving someone with whole heart without guarantee. It's incredibly hard, but as John found and I found, and I think you will find too, it's never as scary as it looks, and it leads to more possibilities and happiness in life. The last story is about vulnerability, and the last story is about me. My love for my parents is the strongest emotion in my life. But in Asian culture, love is seldom expressed in words. It makes me feel extremely uncomfortable to tell them I love you or to even share my feelings with them. Our daily conversation is a combination of what I had for lunch and what they had for dinner. The word courage came from Latin root cur, which means heart. And the original meaning of courage is to tell the story of who you are with your whole heart. I don't know why I have the courage to stand here today and share my story with you, but I don't have the courage to tell my parents I love you. They raised me with love, so much love. They made me believe I'm worthy of love, not because of what I achieve, but because of who I am. Yet I so desperately want to be this perfect child for them. I share my happiness and achievements and withhold my struggles and failures. And as I'm proud of my achievements, I didn't know that this created a huge emotional gap between us, and we no longer share the joy and pain of each other's life journey. I've been experiencing a tough time recently. a heartbroken ending of 3-year relationship, many questions about friendship, and deep insecurity about future. A couple of weeks ago, I came back from an exhausting recruiting trip from New York. The moment I walked in my room in darkness, I experienced an emotional breakdown. I called my mom and burst into tears the moment I heard her voice. And for the next hour, and the first time in my life, I shared my struggles with her. And even though she hasn't been with me in this journey for so long, she understands exactly what I've been going through. The feeling of reconnection after so many years is like magic. In the end, I told her I love you. And she said, I love you too. It's the first time, remember, either of us has said that. I didn't expect what felt so uncomfortable previously came so natural and peacefully in the end. I see life as a constant fight against your comfort zone. You push it, it pushes back. What's the fear that's holding you back? What are you not saying or doing because it's outside your comfort zone? I challenge you to find that comfort zone today. Bravely step out of it. And as you get comfortable again, push it even further. Don't try to get rid of fear. Accept that you will be afraid, and then go do it anyway. As the word said, high on the bungee platform, life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Thank you.
Now it's time to study IELTS.
Oh gosh, I have nothing to wear.
Are you serious?
Yes, come on, look.
V, you have a ton of clothes.
No, but actually I have nothing to wear today.
Nothing? V, you have so many clothes. You could open a small little store. Have you ever thought about having less rather than more?
How about me having nothing to wear today?
That doesn't matter. We need to focus on minimalism. And today, we are going to talk about minimalism.
Okay, deal?
Deal. V, you're going to have to break everything down for me. So what type of clothes do you have?
Well, currently I'm having about 28 pair of jeans and about 55 dresses with about 34 skirts, with some t-shirts and shirts. Oh, plus 5 trousers.
Oh my God. I'm speechless. You know, every time we work together, you're always complaining, you're whining, you're making a fuss. Dustin, I don't know what to wear. I don't know what to wear.
Yeah, Dustin, welcome to my world.
So if you say welcome to my world, that is an introduction to maybe something about you or showing something new to someone, like myself. So yes, I am in your world and you're showing me everything about it.
But I have to say that like men and women are apples and oranges. Like we are kind of different in terms of clothes.
Yeah, I could agree with you. So if something is apples and oranges, you're comparing something that is different from each other. So maybe me and you are apples and oranges because I like casual clothes. I don't have 1,675 shirts. I just have maybe a couple. They're fitted. They're not baggy. I'm very simple with what I have. But for you, V, I don't even know what to say.
And FYI, you know, I always feel like I'm missing something. Like I always need something in this problem I have every day.
So,
like,
this crazy girl right now just said FYI. FYI means for your information. But I don't even know. What else do you have? Do you have, so we're done with clothes. Anything else?
But we're not done with clothes yet.
No.
But yeah, let's go find some shoes for me.
Shoes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's do
Thanks,
this.
anyway.
Okay, shoes. Yeah, shoes. Make a fuss. So if someone is making a fuss, it's kind of complaining or upset about something. So for example, I always work with V, and V's like, Dustin, Dustin, Dustin. I say, V, stop making a fuss about whatever she's doing. So, to make a fuss.
24, 25.
Holy crap. You have a load of shoes.
Come on, Justin. I'm a girl, just so you know.
So, just so you know means like, just so you can understand, but I would beg to differ because I would really question if you're a girl by the way you act sometimes.
Oh, pardon me, Justin. Are you a man?
Just so you know, I am a man, V-oi.
Oh, just so you know, I'm a girl.
I would again question that. So some sandals, some red high heel things.
It's expensive, just so you know I'm a girl.
You're not a girl, V. This doesn't smell like a girl. Oh, okay, what?
That's your smell, Mr. Xavier.
Mr. Xavier can be gong oi. Oh, terrible. Smells very girly. Very, very girly. I'm Miss Candy, I'm girly. Sal. So many clothes, so many shoes.
I'm just a girl.
Bye, V.
Just so you know. I'm just a girl. Just so you know.
No, you aren't. Just so you know. If someone says, just so you know, it's just to tell someone about something, inform them. So for example, V and I, we go and get some food. And I say, V, just so you know, I love Vietnamese food.
If you want to help me follow the minimalism trend, then help me out with these heaps of books. I have tons of books, but don't know which one to give away.
So you have lots of books. You have a lot of books, but V, what's the point of having all these books?
I just want to learn English.
You just want to learn English, but which component of English? Like speaking, writing, listening, what?
I think I'll focus on speaking skills.
On speaking skills. Because the thing is, if you want to be more of a minimalist and you want to get rid of your books, you know, learning speaking is something you want to meet foreigners or practice on YouTube or Western music, movies, TV shows. Because these books, they have a place. You can always look something up or use it as a reference, but you don't really need this many. You only use 20% or so.
Yeah, it's pity to say so, about 20%. But yeah, this time you were right, Justin. That I would give away all of these books.
Okay.
And let's go out for some changes.
It's a good start. Do you need help?
If you want to.
No.
You are not a man now, Justin. Let a girl bring all of these books alone.
You're a strong woman, no problem. What?
Hey, Dustin!
V, don't go there. I already know what you're going to say. Don't go there.
But the dress is really gorgeous. I cannot help looking at
It's
that.
so gorgeous. V, today, minimalism. Simplifying our life, okay? We're not trying to complicate it. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it.
But I want to buy it.
I don't care. Today, you got to focus, all right? Goodbye things, hello Minimalism. Let's go.
But-
Okay, let's go. I don't care. I don't care, V. I don't care. V.
Justin, cakes!
V.
Cakes! Let's buy some cakes.
No, no cakes. Today is minimalism, okay? You do not need things that are extra. This is extra. We don't need cakes, pastries, cookies, desserts, because you have a terrible sweet tooth. But today, no sweet tooth, no extra items, okay?
Why you're such a downer today?
So a downer is someone who takes the fun away from something. So, V, it's not the end of the world if you don't get this, okay?
But I cannot go without cakes.
You can go without cakes. So if someone can go without something, it means you don't need it. Or if you can't go without something, it means you need it. V, 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 V.
What?
It's okay. Right now, we're going to leave. We're going to go to the VTV7 studio, okay?
For what?
Don't say anything.
Okay.
And we'll be the judge, okay? We're gonna walk around and we're gonna see how everyone works. And we can be the judge. Who is a minimalist, who is not, okay? So don't think about cakes.
How about food?
You just ate an hour ago.
Okay. Today you're such a serious minimalist, and I'm trying to get over myself.
Yes, okay, let's go. Please stop talking. Naveen, I don't care. To go without something. That is referring to not having something that you don't need. So for example, I can go without maybe a khoai lang for a day. So I can go without it.
In addition to simplifying our daily life, we could also, simplify our work. And here we are at the workplace of the production team of followers.
Yes, so we're gonna get on their case, figure some things out. So V, what do you think of this? Because I'm trying to teach you about minimalism. Is this okay, kind of okay, or not okay at all?
Man, a lot of papers. Oh man, loads of papers. A lot of pens as well. How many pens does this person have? Like,
You only need one pen for minimalism. So if they got 15 pens, 5 pens, is that enough? Or too many?
too many pens.
Dumb right. V, you're nailing it. Good. You got a purse here, papers, clutter. It's just a big mess of everything.
Yeah.
So would you consider this minimalistic?
Nah, sure. Definitely not.
Good. Bye bye. You're doing good.
Go find another desk.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like this person is so close to being a minimalist.
So close, but so far. So what do you think? What should they have maybe a bit differently?
Like she has one computer and one laptop.
Okay, one computer, one laptop.
Move away one laptop.
Okay, we got that. What else?
This kind of penguin pillow, no need at work.
No need? Anything maybe in my area?
Ah, books.
Books.
Books you mean, right?
Absolutely. Don't need the books.
Wow, so this is a perfect minimalist now.
Perfect minimalistic desk. You don't have the clutter, you don't have all the stuff that's gonna maybe complicate work. You can do your job, focus, get into it, and then you're done. You go home, you're doing a very, very excellent, spectacular, wonderful job.
We nailed it.
We did.
Yeah.
High five. So for you guys, we're gonna give you some tips for being a minimalist or to simplify your life in a way that's going to improve your living standards. So V, it's the first thing.
Well, I think that stop buying things that are unnecessary, like things that are on sales or things that you don't really need, but you just want to buy them. So I think that's one of a really important tip.
Yeah, instead of taking everything that you have that you don't need and throwing it away, think about maybe donating. Someone else could use it because again, you're wanting to focus on the things you absolutely need, not the things that are, this looks really nice, I think I want it. If it looks nice, you think you want it, probably you don't really need it. It's focusing on that. Because you want to kind of clear your mind. You want a peace of mind. You want to be able to focus on things in life without having the complicated aspects. You want to be able to live your life in a very pure way, where it's not overly bombarded and having certain problems with all the extra stuff, clutter.
And last but not least,
practice minimalism with your daily work and daily life, you could practice minimalism with your mind. And that is really vital in a minimalistic life. Good. We nailed it, right? We
Time
nailed
another
it.
fine about that, okay?
Remember?
So you guys practice minimalism.
Yeah, to be a minimalist, like me and Dustin.
Well, today, not you before, but today now. Okay. Yes.
Such an
Before,
expert.
yes, no. So you nailed it. So you nailed it means similar to maybe like 진짜 or đúng rồi. So exactly, like you understand 100%. So for example, I'm working with a student and maybe they have a hard time doing something and then they finally understand and can do a good job. I'm like, you nailed it. Yes, great.
Finally, I could, simplify my life and become a true minimalist. Thanks to Dustin.
Thank you, V, for giving me the compliments, but I think it was more teamwork rather than just all my help.
And you should also simplify your life and you will find it much better. And thank you so much for watching. Follow us and see you guys next time.
Yes, you guys need to become a minimalist. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now it's time to study IELTS.
Như vậy là chúng ta đã đến với phần cuối của chương trình ngày hôm nay. Một buổi tối có thể nói là rất là tập trung, rất là hiệu quả. Và cũng như thường lệ các bạn đã bọc lót cho nhau rất là kỹ. Phần cuối của chương trình ngày hôm nay thì có Trần Duy Toản cũng đã nhảy vào cùng với lại Cool Boys. Các bạn đã chuẩn bị đi ngủ chưa? Ngày mai là một ngày mới và mình cũng sẽ phải dậy rất là sớm. Hello Cool Boy, Trịnh Quang Trường, The English Study as a B, Phú Đạt. Ít khi nào thấy em lắm luôn á, Phú Đạt, bữa nay mới thấy. Bữa nay em thấy bạn Nhi Nguyễn cũng rất là chăm chỉ từ đầu đến giờ luôn. Và cũng chịu rất khó, comment rất là nhiệt tình. Thấy nick của em tự nhiên màu đỏ rực luôn ở đây luôn nè. Rồi, để xem còn những ai nữa nào. Rất là nhiều bạn đã chịu khó, như là Toản cũng đã trả lời câu hỏi của Kiên giáo sư. Nghe nói là tuần sau giáo sư về lại Hà Nội rồi. Hy vọng là sẽ được gặp bạn trước khi xuất phát cùng với chuyến hành trình xuyên Việt. Em đi làm ạ? Em đi làm hả? Có thể chia sẻ cùng với thêm mọi người là em đang làm công tác ở đâu không? Và công việc như thế nào? Bởi vì anh cũng rất muốn nghe được thêm nhiều câu chuyện của nhiều người khác nhau. Mỗi một bạn là một câu chuyện đúng không ạ? Hello Vũ Tùng Lâm, hôm qua cũng thấy em ở đây, bữa nay cũng ở đây luôn, rất là chăm chỉ. Tối ngày mai mình sẽ live với nhau một buổi nữa, đến tối ngày kia thì là anh là ở Đà Nẵng rồi. Cho nên là những ngày cuối tuần thì các bạn sẽ live với những gương mặt khác như là Sơn Sirius, Thanh Vân. Hello Tuệ Thái, nay vào muộn thật, ngày mai anh cũng sẽ phải dậy sớm cho nên là chắc là bây giờ cũng sẽ chỉ có thời gian để chào hỏi các bạn một chút xíu thôi. Ngày hôm nay có rất là nhiều content thú vị đúng không nào? Minimalism cũng là một trong những cái lối sống mình nghĩ là các bạn cũng nên học theo. Cũng lâu lắm rồi mình không mua thêm quần áo mới, chắc phải đến 3-4 năm. Còn giày thì từ Mỹ về mình cũng không có mua thêm giày dép gì mới nữa. Thấy một cuộc sống đơn giản nó cũng hiệu quả hơn rất là nhiều, và đặc biệt là mình đỡ đi rất là nhiều những cái nỗi lo. Hello Bùi Gia Nhường, nó có rất là nhiều bạn mới luôn nè, cho nên là các bạn lớp trưởng lớp phó, Trịnh Quang Trường hoặc là Toản thì chịu khó dẫn dắt và giới thiệu cho mọi người nha. Mấy ngày hôm nay không thấy Leo, không biết là Leo đi đâu rồi. Vào năm học mới mọi người rất là bận đúng không nào? Thôi thì có thời gian thì vào, còn nếu mà không có thì hãy dành cho những cái mục tiêu mà các bạn cần quan tâm hơn đúng không nào? Bữa nay không thấy Giang Nguyễn đâu ha. Giang Nguyễn đoạn đầu có vô mà bây giờ thì không thấy đâu hết rồi. Đã đến lúc nói lời chào tạm biệt với nhau rồi. Hy vọng rằng các bạn sẽ TK Ren nè, chào mọi người, chào Ren. Không biết anh tên là gì nhưng mà bữa nay có thêm nhiều những người bạn mới lần đầu tiên xuất hiện. Có rất là nhiều bạn mặc dù là có thể theo dõi chương trình cũng lâu rồi nhưng mà cũng ít comment đó. Hy vọng là nếu mà mình comment thì mình sẽ được biết đến nhau nhiều hơn. Chiều mai em khảo sát để lọc đội tuyển rồi nên mấy hôm nay em siêng ôn hơn hẳn. Nhi đang học trường nào, học lớp mấy và em đang khảo sát để ôn đội tuyển nào? Anh cũng có kinh nghiệm học đội tuyển quốc gia, cho nên là nếu mà những môn mà mình có cùng nhau thì anh sẽ chia sẻ được thêm nhiều kinh nghiệm cho mọi người. Hồi chiều nay ở trong cái group chat Giang Nguyễn nói là mùa thu rồi, hát bài Thu Cuối đi. Anh sẽ tặng cho Giang, mặc dù là Giang đã đi ngủ rồi. Em học lớp 9 ha. Ok. Hồi học lớp 9, hồi học cấp 2 thì anh cũng ở trong đội tuyển môn vật lý và môn tiếng Pháp. Cho nên nếu em học hai môn đó thì anh sẽ có thể có cho em một vài lời khuyên liên quan đến việc học đội tuyển. Thực ra nhiều người nói là học đội tuyển thì nó sẽ rất là mệt, rất là nhức đầu, rất là intense. Nhưng mà thực ra nếu mà các bạn biết học cái phương pháp đúng thì việc học đội tuyển nó cũng khiến cho bạn có được thêm nhiều nguồn cảm hứng hơn, học những cái môn mà mình yêu thích. Đó, đối với anh thì anh nghĩ như vậy. Và không biết là đối với Nhi như thế nào. Đội tuyển thi học sinh giỏi tỉnh môn tiếng Anh. Thi học sinh giỏi cấp tỉnh thì hôm sau anh sẽ giới thiệu cho em một vài cái tài nguyên nha. Bởi vì anh thì anh không học thi học sinh giỏi môn tiếng Anh, anh thi tiếng Pháp. Nhưng mà có Khánh Vi nè, rồi có Thiện, Khiêm thì cũng đã từng thi học sinh giỏi quốc gia môn tiếng Anh. Chắc chắn là các bạn cũng sẽ có rất là nhiều những thứ hay ho để chia sẻ với mọi người. Đó, Toàn cũng vừa mới chia sẻ là các bạn có thể chủ động tìm kiếm fanpage học IELTS không khó để học cùng nhau và chia sẻ cùng nhau trong group chat, link được ghi ở đầu fanpage. Em thấy học đội tuyển xong học kiểu chắc hơn hẳn, đỡ lo lắng thi vào cấp 3 hơn. Đúng rồi, bởi vì là có rất là nhiều bạn thì bị sợ là học đội tuyển thì sẽ bị học lệch á. Nhưng anh không nghĩ về đâu, quan trọng là tư duy của từng bạn thôi. Và cách mà mình tiếp cận với lại cái môn đó ở cái góc độ chuyên thì nó cũng rất là thú vị, đúng không nào? Em xài xong rồi mệt quá, lúc nào cũng nghe em mệt hết á. Sống phải vui chứ đâu phải lúc nào cũng mệt, đúng không nào? Cho bao nhiêu yêu thương nay bay xa, hoen đôi mi khi thu đưa em qua, đã từng ngọt ngào giờ nhận đắng cay vì anh. Thu vườn tóc em mơn man bên làn gió vương, trên mi ai là dung con phố nhỏ, nhẹ nhàng đâu đầy mùi hương ngọt sữa đó. Ngày xung quanh âm thanh vang lên sao thân quen, trong bao nhiêu ngu ngơ vu vơ muôn lá vàng, thật nhẹ nhàng dù mùa thu không còn yêu anh nữa. Đã từ rất lâu rồi trong anh định nghĩa hai tiếng yêu thương, anh không thể trao cho ai khi anh có em, mùa thu đó anh có em. Vậy cớ sao giờ hơn một năm trôi qua, người đã khác xa thật nhiều, anh nghe tiếng lá rơi không còn em nữa, mùa thu đến anh không còn em nữa. Có lẽ nào em vội quên đi, và có lẽ nào em đưa mùa thu đi, có lẽ nào mùa thu chẳng còn lại gì trong tâm trí em. Có lẽ nào em buông anh đi xa mất, có lẽ nào anh không phải người mà em yêu nhất, có lẽ nào anh phải tự nhủ rằng mình chỉ là giấc mơ, anh mất em rồi. Rồi nha, đến giờ đi ngủ rồi, toát hết mồ hôi rồi. Ngày hôm nay cũng hơi mệt chút xíu, nhưng mà hy vọng rằng cũng đã vui vui với các bạn ở trong buổi tối ngày hôm nay. Chúc cho các bạn sẽ có những giấc ngủ ngon, giấc mơ đẹp. Ngày mai là ngày thứ 5 rồi. Ngày thứ 5 là ngày vừa đủ sang ngày đầu tuần để cho mình vào guồng và học hỏi được nhiều thứ hơn. Ngày cũng gần ngày cuối tuần để cho mình chờ đợi những cái thứ hân hoan ở cuối tuần, đúng không nào? Deadline nào mà chẳng có deadline. Hy vọng rằng chúng ta sẽ vượt qua những deadline đó với một cái tinh thần quyết chiến, đúng không ạ? Dù là bạn đến từ vùng miền nào đi chăng nữa thì những cái trở lực thì khiến cho bạn mạnh mẽ hơn thôi. Bây giờ thì gửi lời chào tạm biệt các bạn nha. Chúc các bạn ngủ ngon và có những giấc mơ đẹp. Bye bye. Có lẽ nào em vội quên đi, và có lẽ nào em đưa mùa thu đi, có lẽ nào mùa thu chẳng còn lại gì trong tâm trí em. Có lẽ nào em buông anh đi xa mất, có lẽ nào anh không phải người mà em yêu nhất, có lẽ nào anh phải tự nhủ rằng mình chỉ là một giấc mơ, anh mất em rồi. Nỗi có lẽ đẹp nhất về đêm cũng chính là lúc ôm em thật chặt băng qua mọi nẻo phố cổ ta thường đến, nhắm mắt chạm nhẹ nỗi đau mình không tên, thật mình chợt nhớ anh không thể với đến.
you.